What's going on, y'all? I'm so sorry. The last live stream ran over, but we here. We are up in here. We are up in here. How y'all doing? Good evening. We gotta get this Candace Owens video in. She's responded to Erika Kirk and the interview that Erika Kirk did. While in the meantime, somehow managed to brag about herself because Candace is soulless. Oh man, what's going on, S Files? I am so sorry, you all. I've ran behind. It's going on 10:45. We are a whole hour behind. I do apologize for the inconvenience, and I know you guys have waited. Um, and I was in the live about Umar. I had to drop some information on him not being a registered agent on the LLC, so he can't do shit with that school. But we are here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Y'all, we're just gonna cover Candace's damn live stream that she did today. This is her show she did today. And I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. And that's what we're gonna cover here. Because I am interested in knowing her response to Erika Kirk's interview with Jesse Waters, especially about the part regarding the conspiracies floating around online. Because I would like to believe that in so many words, Erika Kirk told Candace Owens to shut up. I mean, is she gonna say it flat out? No, because I don't want her to engage in Candace and keep this content going for another 6,000 years. Because Candace will just keep going when she's leeching off of this. She's profiting off of the death of someone she considered to be a friend with no regard to his children and his widow, his wife, who's grieving. No consideration. They're talking about baseless accusations and all this nonsense. Child, what's going on, Diane? Kanye West apologized to Jewish Rabbi Pinto. Candace is going to lose what little mind she has left. Good. Because it's high time for people to see who Candace Owens truly is. Y'all, she did the same stuff with the Macrones. And now she's mad because, she's going to lose that lawsuit like hell. And instead of her letting it be and resolving the matter in court, she continues to double down on it. And that led to an amended complaint being filed. So she got it coming. Y'all, she got it coming. And I really hope Erika Kirk sues her for, releasing Charlie Kirk's medical file on a huge platform of over 5.5 million supporters. Candy asses over there. Without her consent. Because Candace did not have the legal authority to do that. And she could still be held liable for damages. Invasion of privacy. It's called tort. Erika Kirk needs to sue the crap out of her. For all that money she's made off of the death of Charlie Kirk, Erika Kirk needs to sue her for every penny of it. Probably why she's sitting here harping on the death of Charlie Kirk, because she's trying to generate as much money as possible to pay those legal fees from international attorneys representing her in the High Court of Australia on an appeal she didn't have to file. A country does not have to let you in, Candace. Australia does not have to entertain your nonsense and buffoonery. Your BS has caused at least 4 Jewish conservatives to have their lives threatened online. Death threats are no joke. Nicholas Ray has been charged with 12 counts. And she has not even acknowledged that or spoke on it or denounced the death threats. She has not denounced that behavior whatsoever. So I'm going to keep saying it, Candace, until you do. You soulless simp. You can't make this up. So I hope she loses her mind. Good for Kanye. Even though he said and done a lot of dumb things. He got that one right. I just watched that in Officer Tatum. I do hope Kanye is finding peace. Shout out to you, MB. How you doing? I believe everyone can find redemption if they truly seek it. Yeah, you got that one thing right. The trick is to get Kanye to stay consistent with it. You need to do something. You better stop messing around. What's going on, mister? I ran behind. It's Files. Perfect timing. I just got here. Oh, welcome in. Diamond Life. How everybody doing? It's been a long time. You good, Diamond Life? I hope y'all is well with you. What's going on, Michelle? Call, forgive me, but I'm unbelievably cynical. I just don't believe Kanye. I know. I mean, if he did apologize, it's like Erika Kirk said. Y'all remember the part of the interview where she said, "Listen, if you can't be sincere with your apology, just don't render it." Right? She was so graceful in that interview, very well poised and held her composure. She cried when she just couldn't hold it in. And man, she dapped the hell out of her eyes because. And then at some point, I think she did realize, you know what? Tears, snot, nose, and all. I don't care. I miss my husband. I miss my best friend. I miss the father of my children. She's having to play a lot of roles right now. And so no one can tell her how to grieve. No one can tell her how to run her company now. Not even Candace Owens. Who I just wish, you know, Elka Kirk would drop a lawsuit on her. And in that lawsuit, request a gag order. So that way, Candace Owens wouldn't have a choice but to shut the hell up. Yeah, because she could get a restraining order. You out here spreading false nonsense and you're attacking this investigation. Erika Kirk believes that Tyler James Robinson is the sole suspect. If there's evidence to prove otherwise, I'm sure it would be presented to her and she would take that in consideration, probably would, support the evidence if it existed. But Candace has not produced a shred of evidence, documentation, irrefutable proof that would prove beyond a reasonable doubt that others were involved, because that is the burden to meet in a criminal case. Tyler James Robinson is facing the death penalty. You can have your views about the death penalty, but Candace Owens is trying to thwart the entire investigation. While she replaces facts and evidence and documentation with conspiracy theories about communistic bumblebees. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And pipelines and underground tunnels and all this other nonsense. It's like she's trying to get them off. Candace Owens, the only one fighting for the defense. It's so crazy. He apologized to a rabbi. Candace just can't catch a break. Lambert. What's going on, Lambert? Hope you're doing well. Hey, one of her cult followers did call me a demon, by the way. Yeah, well, candy asses are all, demons themselves. If they sit here and they praise and worship and idolize this girl and they refuse to tell her the truth. Talking to people who are deceased is an unfamiliar spirit and it's in the Bible, and you should read about that, Candace. Why would he visit you? Stop summoning him. Stop doing it. Bible speaks when Saul went to a witch, basically, and summoned the spirit of Samuel. Samuel was like, why are you waking me up? Man, I'm just waiting on the rapture like the rest of us. Why don't you leave me alone? You can't make this up. Candace talking about she's seeing dead people. Child, please. And Burke, never worry. I appreciate you all so much. I sent Turning Point an email asking them, please do not respond to these people anymore. Thank you, the Yes Files. I think many people should reach out to Turning Point and say, can y'all stop responding? I speak louder on my platform, which is why I keep saying it in all my videos. Turning Point USA, please stop responding to Candace Owens or giving her energy. There's nothing she's produced that seems to be fruitful. It will not be worth it. Do not respond to her. You don't owe her anything, and she expects it. You overstepping your boundaries, Candace. You're not the CEO of Turning Point. Erika Kirk is, and you're not even looking out for her. Why won't you have Erika Kirk on your show, Candace? I've been asking this question for 2 months? Why won't Candace Owens invite Erika Kirk on her show? She can't even give a response to an interview without talking about herself. Candace, why won't you invite Erika Kirk on your show? Let's see how mature and grown up you really are. That girl, she knows she's jealous of Erika Kirk. Candace is jealous of her. Candace Owens limited edition gift cards. Oh man, I'm not going to donate to Turning Point USA because of Tucker Carlson. That's for sure. Yeah, he's oh god. Honestly, the best way to do anything, I would, send a stuffed toy or something like that for Erica Kirk's kids. But that's about it. I think a lot of people have been kind of turned off with Tucker Carlson, and then he had to go back and retract some stuff he said, about Christian Zionists. And it's like, what the hell? None of this stuff would be happening if Charlie Kirk were alive. Tucker Carlson wouldn't have said that. Candace Owens would not be saying any of this. It's like his death was so convenient for her. She wouldn't be saying any of this stuff. She certainly would not be disrespecting his pastor or his pastor's son who worked for Turning Point. If he was still alive, he would not allow Candace to say half of the dumb things coming out of her mouth. He would have went off on her so bad. He would have did a post. All right, I'm about to hurt Candace Owens' feelings right now. And if she still want to be friends with me after this, I don't care. Y'all know that brain rot, comment I made? Yeah, that's whole Candace. She's a walking brain rot. And infectious. She seems to infect everyone else's mind with brain rot. It's like a plague. It refuses to go away. Man, you can't make this stuff up. Yeah, Megyn Kelly is not a good look either. Megyn Kelly is like she's scared of Candace Owens. Megyn Kelly, you got your own audience. If you have some sort of integrity and stand on it, even if it's not what's so popular and trending. If I wanted to just get a quick 50,000 views in a video, I would make a video that was favorable to Candace because that's the type of following she's getting. But what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? What does it profit him? That's what I'm saying. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? I don't even think I've ever broken 200 people in a live stream. But I would rather speak on the things that are right and that are just than to sit here and to make video content just for views. And then that ends up getting me where? People questioning my integrity. What is my stance? So if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. I want God to bless me and my kids with good health and keep me and my children in their right frame of mind. The quickest way to lose out on these blessings, if you go out here and you're speaking these things out here and saying all this stuff, Candace doesn't care the power she has in her words and in her influence. She doesn't care. When you're out for clickbait, that's temporary. You can only go for so long. And then after a while, people are going to get tired of you spewing around the same old conspiracy theories. It's like a cycle. This time next week, she'll be back to the Egyptian plane thing again. So it's almost like you're not missing out on anything. So if you miss a day or two of Candace Owens, just wait another 3 or 4 days. She's going to circle back to that same topic again. It's like a cycle pattern of behavior. It's cyclical. At some point, she's going to get back to blaming Israel and the Israeli prime minister and Egyptian planes. She's probably going to reintroduce and entertain the tunnel thing again and some bees and all. Like these conspiracy theories are, just being recycled at this point. She doesn't have anything else. She knows she has no evidence. And what she wants is for people to corroborate whatever she's saying by putting out sound bites and then waiting to see who responds and says what. She actually wants the executive branch of government to respond to her. No, girl, no. They said kick rocks. Trump told you to shut up about Brigitte Macron. You won't do that. So no, he's not helping you. Because if he wanted to help her, he would. He's not. He said, hell no, I'm not helping that heifer. For what? I told her to shut up with Brigitte. she ain't listening to me on that. So no, would I like helping her on this? Nope. I'm too busy awarding Erika Kirk with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Trump ain't stunned her. Child boo. And I'm the last person to see him be political. But he ain't stunned her. Can't make this up. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. 34 people watching. Make sure you guys hit the like button and share this content. Become subscribers here in the Lady Luck Club. We're trying to hit 30,000 supporters, because telling the truth, I mean, it's not always sensational, but it is what it is. And all I can hope is that you all learn something and get something out of this, because I constantly learn from you all. And I appreciate that. We also have a goal for the live stream, $25 per live, to help towards the expenses of the channel. So if you would like to donate and support the channel, you can with the Cash App scrolling down at the bottom, or supers. Either way, I don't care. I just appreciate the support either way. Hitting that like button and subscribing to the LLC are free to do. And I will be gifting out memberships this weekend. So make sure you guys stay tuned. YouTube just kind of sends them out sporadically to people. It's not like I can select people for the memberships, but we do get 10 free memberships a month. So I will be gifting those out. All right. Let's get to it, y'all. Y'all ready? Gag order would be nice. I know, right? Welcome back, Diane. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Truth is, life is here. We got it going. We ready to go. So y'all put a 1 in the chat if you can see it here. Let's go.
Because today is obviously a day of celebration. Yes, in case you missed it, we officially have become the #1 podcast in the world. Not in America, okay, not in Europe. I am talking about in the world. And the haters stay mad. Haters stay big mad.
Yo, we're not mad. Why are you taking my sound bite? You heifer. If she says heifer, that confirms she listens to me. Oh, big mad. God, you heard that from me. You taking my sound bite. You better get original.
Internet on X today, it is just crazy town. I mean, Christian Zionist influencers are doing that thing where they attack me for telling the truth about something. It's so strange. I don't even know how to react to it. I'm going to do my best here. They're all weighing in and they're commenting and they're saying untrue about something that is literally true. It's literally true. I lived it. It's such a strange thing. It's like they're trying to wipe my own memory and wipe my own emails that I have. Of course, we are.
Yeah, post up the emails and stop running your mouth. That's the problem. We're not inclined to believe what you say. Post up the documentation and tell us who the hell sent you that screenshot of Charlie Kirk's medical file. You were not supposed to post it up. Ain't nobody hating on you. Why would I hate on someone that's being sued by a world leader and his wife? Who would hate on that? You know how expensive that lawsuit about to be for you, girl. Ain't nobody hating on that. See, remember I told you all, folks, when you're sitting here being jealous and envious of someone, wishing good, whatever you think is good about them on your life, you also introducing the bad. So you got to take the good and the bad at the same time when you decide to be envious of Candace Owens. Girl, no one is envious or hating on you or big mad. You sound biting my stuff. Talking about big mad. I'm the only one that said that, girl. You heifer. No one's jealous of that. Who would be jealous of the president of another country filing a defamation lawsuit on you? You're going to have to pay them double-digit millions of dollars. I hope you know that. And when the hell you going to issue these refunds to these people that bought those tickets over there in Australia? Because they said, no, thank you, kick rocks. Bye, Felicia. You can't make this up.
At first, before we get to them, going to cover the top viral moments from the heavily anticipated interview with Erika Kirk on Fox News with Jesse Waters. So let's get started.
Yo, child. Yeah, I heard she was
podcast in the world. Grok summarizes it this way. I'm going to read it. Conservative commentator Candace Owens announced on Thursday that her independent podcast, Candace, has reached the top global ranking according to Podscribe data following her 2024 departure from the Daily Wire. She credits the organic growth to criticism, legal challenges, including a defamation lawsuit from French President Emmanuel Macron and First Lady Brigitte Macron, and her small team's resilience. Owens attributes the milestone to divine intervention amid ongoing media attacks. Fact checked.
Yeah, God doesn't bless anything that's filled with chaos and confusion. The God that I serve, Candace Owens, is not the author of confusion. So how is this blessing? How is this a divine intervention? You know, I'm not a Catholic, but I would like to think that those who are Catholic would also be able to attest to the fact that they don't serve a God that would allow you to prosper in chaos, confusion, and lies. Nope. God does not bless your mess, girl. You might want to rethink what you consider to be divine intervention. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?
It's just true. All of it's very true. I'm so excited. I would like to thank everyone but the Academy because the Matrix hates me. I will never win any more accolades, probably never be invited to a red carpet event, but that's okay because I've never been happier. And there are so many people to thank. It is true. We must thank Brigitte and Emmanuel Macron for that ill-advised lawsuit. Obviously, I feel like that ripped a hole in reality and made things even more global than they already were. I'd like to thank Kanye West, formerly Kanye West, he is now Ye, for the song Power, because the song Power really made me recognize that you have to stop listening to your haters. You also should recognize that you need the haters to inspire you to keep going. When somebody tells you you can't be something or you must be something, you have to stand up.
You must be honest. You must be considerate. You must have the spirit of humility. You must be forgiving. You must seek forgiveness. These are things in the Bible. Just like the same thing when it comes to the commandments. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not lie. Thou shalt not lie. Yeah, no, those are commandments in the Bible. Once again, what God are you serving again?
For yourself, you have to have the courage to say, I know the crowd is doing this, but I'm not doing it. And that was me when I no longer wanted to do the pro-Israel thing. Of course, as always, I thank Ben Shapiro. I thank Jeremy Boring. I thank the direction of travel and they realizing it before I did, that I should be fired. Thank you for firing me. But and thank you for the publicity of the firing. Andrew Clavin, Christ is King. Thank you so much. You are a hero in my book. Tucker Carlson, I don't know. I feel like I should thank you because a lot happened because people thought that we were plotting behind the scenes and we never were. And thank you, Tucker Carlson, for the weeks that I get off when the media is attacking you instead of me. Now it's kind of together. It's Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, but thank you. I want to thank Australia. We see you, Australia. Tony Burke, thank you for banning us from an entire country. Even though I didn't do nothing, I literally didn't do nothing.
I didn't do nothing. Girl, you forgot that you can speak proper English because I didn't do nothing. Candace, where did you get those 2 degrees that you claim to have from? You understand I'm researching that information. What school, Candace Owens, did you acquire 2 degrees? What are those degrees? What was your major? When did you graduate? Where's the evidence to prove that you have obtained 2 degrees? I don't even care if you did online school. What is the name of the school and the degrees? And when did you obtain those degrees? Because thou shalt not lie. You said that you have 2 degrees. You really think God is going to bless you and allow any permanent blessing to hit your channel when you have to lie about your education? Candace Owens, I know you listening, you heifer. No one's big mad about that. Who will be jealous and envious of someone lying about simple stuff? You're an opportunist. You're a narcissist. If you had 2 degrees, you would have already bragged about it. You will still be bragging about it because you can't help yourself. Where did you go to school and get those 2 degrees?
Nothing, but I'm banned. And guess what? You got to hear me anyways. Ha ha ha, Tony Burke. Okay, but in reality, also, obviously, thanking this incredible team, very small. It has stayed small. There's just 4 of us that work on the actual podcast every day. Savannah wearing a ton of hats, Chris in editing, Mark mansplaining, and also being our director, Skylar, the producer, who has to deal with my insane text messages all through the night because my brain's running a million different ways. It's just a really tiny little engine that keeps going. And so that's why we are actually resilient. We do need to hire more people. And you guys still are not getting a window in there. I just want to be clear. I don't want them to get too excited. There will never be any breathing room in the control room. And yeah, obviously, it's been a tremendous year and mostly thankful to my husband for figuring out how to operate an entire podcast business. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he deals with things. He doesn't have time to even watch the show, and he's just constantly putting out fires. Could not have done this without all of you guys for letting me know that.
George, I hope you know that she married into your family with money already sitting there. You were wealthy before you married her, and she's going to bankrupt your ass if you keep going at this rate. Because if she catches a lawsuit from Erika Kirk, that's it. That's going to seal it. That lawsuit is going to be absolutely supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Oh, Candace, you have no idea the defamation lawsuits that you could be hit with that would really bankrupt you. And no one should be scared to do it. You have the right to pursue justice in the court of law, especially when you have evidence to show that she's out here causing people to have death threats sent to them, online death threats. So keep bragging. Your pride comes before your fall, girl.
But it's okay to just be honest. And it was definitely a trying year, realizing that, especially now, the conservatism thing, what is conservatism? The Republican Party is going through a moment. I don't want to be tied down to the Republican Party, and I want to be able to say something against Democrats and Republicans. And we're doing that. We're speaking truth. We're going to continue to speak truth, and we're very excited today. And one of the things that we are speaking truth about right now, and which my haters are like, it's because you're talking about Charlie Kirk. You know, you guys change this every month. First it was, oh, it's because of the Brigitte Macron thing. Oh, it's because of the Kamala Chronicles. Oh.
No, you changed it every week. What are you talking about? You've been on this for 12 weeks straight. That's 3 months, Candace. In case you didn't know, going back to September 10th, we're coming up on 12 good full weeks. Do you realize that? In 4 days, we would have hit 90 days of you reporting on this. Do you understand that? No one is changing it up. You're changing it up. We're not telling you what to say. No one is telling Candace Owens what to say. Now it's our fault that she's sitting here changing it up. Are you kidding me?
It's because of the Blake Lively lawsuit. The common denominator here is me looking for truth. And I think people are catching on to the fact that I'm sincerely looking for truth, and I don't care what enemies I make along the way. And obviously, I'm making a lot of enemies right now, for some reason, looking into the Charlie Kirk assassination and the lies that we are being told. Anyways, let's get into Erika Kirk. Obviously, it was a very anticipated interview. I think that we didn't really know what we were going to get. I don't know why I thought it was going to be like more about the investigation. And obviously, in retrospect,
no, because she knows that she can't talk about an open pending federal investigation, because she doesn't want to take the jury pool selection. Why would she need to talk about it? She trusts the evidence. She trusts the case that's been laid before her. And she's the person that it matters the most to. You're not, Candace. They don't care what you think. You don't affect what's going to occur in the court of law. I've been saying this for weeks, and you know you're listening, you heifer. You don't get to dictate the facts, the evidence, and the law that's going to be laid out in the court of law to the judge presiding over this case and to the jury. Erika Kirk knows better. At the end of the day, when this is all said and done, then you can get all this documentation that is released to the public. Whatever gets released to the public, whatever is not redacted or considered sealed, you will have your opportunity to get the information and report on it until kingdom comes. But until then, no. She doesn't need to do that.
That's not what it was about, because it's Fox News, and Fox News is not going to do this heavy investigation. It was kind of more giving her a platform to speak about how things have changed for her, how things have changed for Turning Point USA, but it's like being at the helm of the organization. What are her thoughts about what that organization is going to look like going forward? And I'm speaking about Jesse Waters, who hosted this discussion, also trailed her at the event that she did with JD Vance at the University of Mississippi. Now, people around the world obviously have been moved by Erika's commitment to her Christian faith, the strength, obviously, that it takes for her to look after her kids, to look after herself, plus to steward this massive company, all while she's grieving, right? And that's kind of one of the things that stood out the most to a lot of people. But I would say the Christian message is what has resonated the most when she got up on stage and she said that I forgive him pretty instantly. I mean, when was the memorial event? It was only 10, 11 days after he was assassinated. I think it was even less, maybe. It was like the 19th, 9 days after he was assassinated. Oh, sorry, the 21st. Mansplained in my ear. Thank you, Mark. So Jesse asked her about the harder moments that she has encountered becoming a widow. And she shared that nighttime is the hardest. She also shared her experience with the emotions of being a widow compared to the emotions that other widows may experience when grappling with sudden loss. And here's what she had to say. Take a listen.
It's so easy to be in a position of feeling regret when you lose someone you love. And I tried to read a book by C.S. Lewis because he lost the love of his life. He was only married to her for 4 years. It's called A Grief Absurd. And it was a very hard book to read. Not because it was about grief, but because in the opening pages he talked about how angry he was with God. And I've never felt that. I'm not angry with God. Never have been. Never have I questioned, why, Lord, are you putting me through this? Why are you testing me? Why are you... Because God is so good. And he's so sovereign. And I know he uses everything, even what the enemy meant for evil. And I have no regrets.
So when I saw this moment, I was just thinking about myself and my...
Yeah, let's stop right there. Hard stop right there. You saw this moment, you was thinking about yourself. And, which is a conjunction word. Y'all see the words on the screen? I was just thinking about myself. That means you can separate this word, this first part of the sentence from the second part here as a standalone thought. Because, this is something I learned in second grade, Candace Owens. Of course you were thinking about yourself. You're selfish. This was not about you. This was not about the investigation. This was about her and how she felt, what she's going through, her experience. This is all about her. And the first thing you say is when you saw this moment, I was just thinking about myself. This is the narcissism in you that won't even allow you to be empathetic for 16 seconds and to focus on someone else other than yourself. How was she a mother of 4 children? And the only person she seems to think about is herself. Because you can't be selfish as a mother. Otherwise, you're going to get a whole lot of stuff wrong. The moment I found out I was pregnant, I had to be selfless. I had to think about my baby first, no matter how much I liked it or not. She doesn't even show any remorse right now. And y'all saw her getting itchy when Erika Kirk started quoting the scripture. What the devil meant for evil, God turns it around. She started scratching. Because demon and all. You can't make this up. I was just thinking about myself. Of course you were. You're selfish.
A lot of emotions and grieving that I have experienced and all the emotions that I've shared with you guys and the anger that I have felt. And I want to be very clear that I am not that example that she is giving. I could have never, and I know that so many people agree with this, I could have never forgiven Tyler Robinson for whatever part he played in this. And obviously I'm saying whatever part he played in this because I don't believe that he was the lone person involved. I don't even think he's the person that killed Charlie Kirk. But even if you believe all of those things, I never could have turned around and forgiven him that quickly, right? And I have not even processed, I definitely, when I prayed about this, asked a ton of questions.
Who are you praying to again? Because it doesn't sound like you and I praying to the same God. You call yourself a Christian. What God are you praying to? Because if it's like, I'm putting things out there in the universe, we're not praying to the same God. You all hear this? Oh my God.
To God. And yeah, she is absolutely right in what she is saying. And she is delivering to us what the biblical teaching is on these matters. But I could not feel that way. And so I was questioning myself, listening, I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, actually, what is wrong with me? Why am I not able to get to forgiveness? Why am I not able to, or why am I rather questioning and asking why, and why doing this to somebody so young? I mean, even my dad, by the way, was so impacted. He met Charlie a couple of times, but he was so impacted by Charlie's assassination that it made him go, I want to be, I remember my dad said this, like, I want to be a better grandfather and a better father because I look at myself and I'm older and I haven't lived a life anywhere near as admirable as Charlie has lived his life. My dad literally said this to me on the phone. And it makes me feel like, why him? Why did this happen to Charlie Kirk? And I just, I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking. I was going, wow, what is wrong with me that I have felt all of those things that she has had the wisdom to just not go through that. You know what I mean? Or not.
She says she stands on the word of God and her faith. Did you not hear her? Candace, you should have watched this interview in its entirety before you did your show. After bragging about you being number one, like anyone cares. Who starts off with that and then goes into a very solemn and very emotional interview like this? Who does this? And you claim to be his friend? You realize you weren't his best friend when he passed away, though, right, Candace? I hope you know that. I hope you know you were not even considered a good friend in his inner circle at the time he passed away, because they didn't even call you and tell you that he was shot. You had to find out with the rest of us. That's how unimportant you were to him. This is insane.
Or not, I guess I shouldn't say not go through that, but not fixate on that. I couldn't today, after everything that's happened, be like, I forgive Tyler Robbins. I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I think maybe if I'm assessing myself and being hypercritical of myself right now, it's because I cannot forgive until I know what happened. I don't know what I'm forgiving, actually, until I know what happened. And this might move into what we're going to get into later, where she answers the question. We're going to get.
Look, ain't nobody got time for you to be delusional. He shot a man from over 160 yards away. That's it. He admitted to it. You have no concrete evidence that will prove beyond a reasonable doubt anyone else was involved. So you keep saying you don't know what happened. It's because you don't want to know what happened. You just want to believe whatever you want to believe. And no one cares about that.
To it right now, actually, of whether or not she believes that they have caught the true killer of Charlie Kirk, right? Do you believe that?
Yes, she does.
The person that we have in
She
custody,
does.
is that the person that pulled the trigger? Is that the only person that pulled the trigger? Anyways, I want you to hear it directly from her and not me recapping what she said or reiterating it, rather. It's gone viral because of what she didn't say, to be honest with you. Take a listen.
Do you think they've caught your husband's killer?
Exactly.
So something I'm so grateful for is that we have one of the
Exactly, C-Star.
most incredible teams for this case. I would never wish it upon anybody to have to go through what we are going through. To have seen the autopsy report, to have seen the different evidence portions that have been collected. I trust our team.
So it's not a straight yes or no, and the implication.
She just said, I trust my team. I think Erika is smart enough to be able to say, I don't really trust all of the information. Just like she was able to make her stance on cameras being in the courtroom. Did she hesitate when she said that? Erika Kirk was very firm and straightforward when she said, why can't we have cameras in the courtroom? I've had cameras on me. My husband had cameras on him. You know, we've had cameras on our private life now. You're not going to tell me we can't have cameras in the courtroom. She was very direct and very firm on that. But somehow you don't think her saying she trusts the team is not a direct answer? What are you critiquing here? Why are you critiquing this interview?
Could be that she trusts the team to find more or to get answers, or if this is not it, to tell her what the true answers are. And I think that's why this is going viral, because they're going, okay, does she actually believe that Tyler Robinson acted alone? And obviously Jesse is not going to push her on that, because it would have probably felt more like an interrogation rather than just sitting down and speaking through some of these topics that are probably hard to talk about in general. But I am hopeful that what she's implying is that she trusts her team to do the due diligence. She says that she has seen the autopsy report. She has seen certain things. Obviously, none of us have seen the autopsy report. And
yes, and she's the only one that can, because she's the next of kin. And you should have gotten her consent before you posted up that snippet of that medical file from a hospital medical staff or whomever. That should not have sent that to you in the first place. That person should be fired. And I don't advocate for people to lose their jobs, especially right now. But what they did was a clear violation of HIPAA. And you are violating CMIA law, invading on that privacy and still publishing that information without her consent. Candace, no one is pushing to see the autopsy report because we understand and respect the federal laws regarding his medical privacy and his right to such, even in death. Except you. You know, when she was listening to this interview, she thought about herself. Let's keep that in mind.
I don't know. I didn't know what to make of that. Is she saying that there's more that's going to come out? Is that kind of a foreshadowing that more is going to come out and things are going to be clear? I hope so. I really do. Because in terms of what the public has seen so far, I would say nothing has been convincing. And I'm trying to imagine what they would have that the public hasn't seen that could be sort of a smoking gun. And in theory, it would be the footage, right? Tyler Boyer said, we have footage in 4K, all of the stuff when he was tweeting. And similarly, not the university, but somebody else was saying that, at every angle, every area of the university is covered. Their excuse for not showing the public was they didn't want it to in any way impact the case. That has never made sense to me. That excuse has never made sense to me. In fact, I would imagine that when there was a manhunt going on before you were even thinking about the case, but rather thinking about keeping people safe, that would have been a good time to drop some clear footage of the individual. But it's possible. It's possible they have actual clear footage of Tyler Robinson jumping down onto the rooftop and firing the shot. That's all possible. And so we're just going to have to wait and see on that. Now, I'm going to say personally, and maybe even selfishly, probably selfishly, again, I'm fallen. I'm very fallen, obviously. I was extremely excited that she responded to the Catholic innuendo once and for all in her own way. Obviously, it was not a direct question or anything. But two things happened here. One, you probably didn't catch, which is behind Jesse and Erika as they're walking backstage at the University of Mississippi event that they headlined. There was a priest. Look in the corner there. I know a priest scholar when I see one. Yep, that is the same priest.
First of all, Charlie Kirk never said that he did not respect Catholicism. He even talked about the beauty of the buildings and, you know, the religion as a whole. He respects it. He enjoyed attending mass. He never denied that. I don't understand why she feels like she needs to, you all said he wasn't doing anything with Catholicism. What do you mean? He's talked about it himself. So I don't find it odd that a Catholic priest was there. But that doesn't mean that he was full Catholic either. It doesn't mean he's changing his views on being pro-Israel. It just doesn't. You got to be kidding me.
That she took with her to the hospital when Charlie was shot. And I don't know. I am maintaining that I think this may have been about more than the architecture. And in case you are not there yet, in addition to that, the priest being caught behind the scenes there, they traveled with Erika and she discusses Charlie's affinity for Saint Michael. Take a listen.
When we first started dating, I asked him, I was like, why do you wear a cross? He's like, why? You say you're a Christian, but you don't wear a cross. I was like, I don't know. I'm not a jewelry guy. And I was like, I understand. So for his first birthday present, I got him this cross. And then throughout time, I would always add different medals to it. And so he loved St. Michael. And so, every time he'd put this on, he just felt like it was his armor.
Are we done here, guys? He felt like St. Michael.
No, we're not. Wasn't the Bible referencing an angel named Michael? It also references an angel named Gabriel. I don't understand this. They are angels named in the Bible. What are we talking about here? Still has nothing to do with him changing his views on being pro-Israel. If his wife was not saying he went full-blown Catholic, why are you saying that? That's not what she said. This is unbelievable.
Was his armor. Okay. Now, I wanted to point that out because in retrospect, I get more and more just amazed and upset at how vicious and cruel and unnecessary people are. Just all of the videos people made when I wasn't even mentioning it as a big deal. I was doing a tribute video to Charlie and being like, we were all hoping that he was going to take the step and become Catholic, gave no details. And the next thing I knew, Operation Christian Zionist Influencer was, while I was in a state of trauma and grieving, coming after me and saying that it wasn't true. And I don't think any of them have made videos since clarifying that no, Candace seems to have been telling the truth, because who cares about the truth when you can just like dunk on Candace? But I thought that was a very natural way to kind of respond to it. And, she's probably not going to give us any more because she doesn't have to give us any more. Like I said from the beginning, he didn't convert to Catholicism, but it's just kind of okay for us to tell the truth about where he was at on his spiritual journey. I don't know why that's a big deal at all, outside of just hating Catholics, which is what I am receiving a lot of that as. And there's just been so many lies that have been told, and we're going to get into more of them later. And the frustration that I have with people who purport to care about Charlie, why they peddle ridiculous, tiny lies, doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, but keeping with Erika's interview, she was asked directly, and this is probably the most viral moment from the sit down, about how she personally feels about the conspiracy theories that are circulating regarding his murder. And here is her answer.
There's other theories swirling around about Charlie's assassination.
Right.
How does that make you feel?
When everything happened, my phone died. It became a black hole. I just didn't turn it on for weeks on end. I've intentionally insulated myself because I need to guard my heart, and I need to be there for my kids, and I need to be there for Turning Point. And what I've realized through all of this is that everyone grieves differently. Everyone is trying to figure out, and I don't blame them, how does this happen? How does somebody become so radicalized where they can justify this in their own head? We just lost one of the greatest voices of our generation. Why? How? What's behind it? Like, everyone's trying to process this. And I respect that. But where my heart is just asking for some grace is for the ones who were there that day. They have to hold on,
I'm gonna go back.
Just lost one of the greatest voices of our generation. Why? How? What's behind it? Like, everyone's trying to process this. And I respect that. But where my heart...
Hard stop. Once again, a conjunction word. if you separate the first part of the statement from the last, you end up with two different thoughts. There's a but in that, Candace. She said, I respect that. It doesn't mean she likes it or agrees with it. I respect you trying to process however you want to process this. But there's a but, Candace Owens. In case you're not reading, turn on your captions, girl, and watch this video again. But, because there's always a but. That means she doesn't have to agree with this nonsense you're peddling. She probably disagrees with everything you're saying. She respects your processing of the death. But it doesn't mean she likes or agrees with this nonsense that you're putting out there. Because there's always a but. There's always a but in this.
Is just asking for some grace is for the ones who were there that day.
Exactly.
They have to relive that every single day.
Exactly.
He didn't die in a car accident. He didn't die from cancer. He was assassinated.
Talk about it.
And the difference between this and previous assassinations in this country is there was no social media. There was no AI. I can tell you how many fake images are out there of all of this. And again, my only request is that just please pray and consider and think about whatever you put online, because it's going to impact his kids in the future. I don't want my kids to go on the internet one day when they're older and see things that it's just, we're all trying to process this in their own way, and I appreciate it.
Candace, I hope you're paying attention. Look at her eyes. She can't even look in the camera. She's not even looking in the camera right there. That moment right there is a sign of guilt. If Candace was in an interrogation room, an investigator would have noted that and noticed the moment she loses eye contact. Usually it's like an involuntary body language that indicates that you're finding it difficult to face what she's saying. It's like you're not able to see her say words that you know would apply to you. It's like her way of not really facing or accepting what Erika Kirk is saying here, because she has a guilty conscience. I mean, I would say she's soulless, but right, she's feeling guilt right here because she knows all the things that she's been saying in videos. Who's been pushing out the biggest and dumbest conspiracy theories about Charlie Kirk's death? Candace Owens. She didn't give an exception to this. She didn't say, except Candace Owens, because I feel that Candace Owens is saying things that make sense. No. This is a blanket statement she's saying for all those that are generating these conspiracy theories. Whether you have a platform of 5 million or 5,000. It all applies to everyone across the board. Candace Owens is no exception to this. None. And it's written all over her face.
That, but just some grace would be nice.
So I think it's a gracious answer, and I think it's a gracious request to,
no
assert
emotions in it at all.
People are doing this because they care.
Dear Lord, no emotion to that at all. Oh my God, Candace, you don't have a soul, girl, and you think people are big, mad, and jealous of you? Using my sound bite, heifer. You really think people are big mad at this when you don't even just pause for 2 seconds and just let that marinate for a minute? And this is your comeback. You act as if you're an exception to this, and you're not. You and Erika Kirk are not friends. You can't make this up. Candace Owens, I just want you to know, on behalf of the Lady Luck Club, hell is still hot.
And I care about Charlie. And also, this was a traumatic event that the entire world experienced. And also, the reason why the internet is investigating is because the feds aren't. And not only are they not investigating, they're telling some pretty obvious lies, right? Number one being that he was shot by a .30-06 and stopped the bullet, when in a normal circumstance it would have decapitated him. Like a 30-6 will decapitate someone. And
dear
because they've been
Lord.
so ridiculous and then gaslighting us by being like, you're dishonoring Charlie's legacy, people are digging their feet in the ground because it's just disrupts us spiritually to watch something like that and then be told like nothing to see here. Now, here's what I will say about her request to consider the people that were there that day. The people that were there that day experienced a trauma because they watched Charlie Kirk die, or maybe they didn't see him die, maybe watched him get shot, heard the shot, who knows what the exact specs are. This is where it's going to be really hard for Erika to be a CEO and to be somebody who is a widow at the same time.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I know where you're going with this, Candace. Nope. And it goes to show how smart you think you are, but you're not. You're not that smart. If I can see where you're going with this, and you're about to say something really dumb. You're literally trying to say that she needs to take the heat about criticism of the company over her feelings, and which is justified. Her asking for grace with the conspiracy theories, as if you're not the main one peddling the nonsense. So she should just accept it as criticism to Turning Point USA, not as a widow grieving the loss of her husband. What the F are you saying, girl? These kids got to grow up and watch your dumb videos. Candace has already said this in a video. That's how I know exactly where she's going with this. Candace, that's cold and callous and cold-hearted. And all of this, by the way, let's not forget, Candace Owens shows are scripted. So she's already planned this out. I don't script my my content. None of my live streams are pre-scripted. I just free flow. I pray and ask God to give me wisdom and guide me on what to say and my thoughts. Hopefully someone learns something. Some people will agree, some people won't. But Candace scripts her shows. And the fact that you're about to read this dumb script to say that she should just accept whatever's coming out because it's criticism against the company and not an attack on you as a widow. What?
Time, right? Because the messaging that is coming out of Turning Point USA, so this is Erika in her CEO and her chairman capacity, has just been unacceptable, right? It can't be both. It can't be, okay, everybody, we're going to keep going. And, you know, Mikey's going to take over for Charlie at his Liberty event that he has, which is going to be sold out. And Turning Point USA people who are directors of faith are going to be telling you, like, Mikey's got what it takes. Here's what, blah, blah, blah. And then Mikey's going to tell stories about that day, go on a show multiple times. Andrew's going to talk about it. Everyone's going to talk about it. And they don't want to talk about the stuff that we care about. Like, this is what it means to have a podcast, right? You can't want fame.
Candace, just because you don't care about it does not mean that the rest of the let's just go based on the US population here. 300 million people plus. You only have 5 million subs on your channel for YouTube. Let's say the US population is 335 million people. If someone wants to post the correct numbers in the chat, please do so. You only have 5 million. That leaves 330 million people. Let's just say half of that still want to know how she feels and what she's got going on and want to show some empathy and consider that. You don't dictate how over 160 million people feel about this. Just because you don't like and agree with it does not mean that he can't go out and have speaking engagements or anything else. What if she's co-signing off on this? What if she's saying, you know what? I don't mind. Get out there. You know, I support you. Because if Erika Kirk didn't support Mikey, what's the young man's name? Mikey McCoy doing this, then she would have said something. She wouldn't let him do it. She's the CEO. So if he's out here doing this, obviously Erika Kirk is supporting it. But we're not even, I mean, are you kidding me? You're just going to overlook the fact that she said My kids have to grow up and watch this stuff. Just a little grace would be nice. Cut out the conspiracy theories. They're not necessary. It's so crazy. That's absolutely insane. But no consideration for her kids. Candace does not have to worry about trying to explain to her 4 children why their daddy is not coming home. Candace doesn't have to have that conversation with her kids. She can't even be empathetic as a mother. Even if she can't relate as a widow, you can relate to what Erika Kirk said as a mother. Why not think about the kids when you're doing these videos, Candace? This is crazy.
Only on your command. This is kind of the Meghan Markle thing, right? That we talk about. And I'm quoting this to Mikey McCoy. It's like everybody wants to be famous until you're famous. Okay. We want privacy now. Well, it doesn't actually work that way. You don't get to be like, I want to marry you and I want to be a princess and then become a princess. And you're like, well, I don't want to be a princess, right? It's kind of, you got to pick one or the other. So if there were turning point individuals who were so traumatized that day, we want privacy now. Well, don't want to talk about the stuff that we care about. Like, this is what it means to have a podcast, right? You can't want fame only on your command. This is kind of the Meghan Markle thing, right? That we talk about. And
is she saying this to Erika Kirk? Is she saying, Erika Kirk, you can't want fame only on your command? Because otherwise, what the hell is she talking about? What kind of nonsense is this? What are you saying? You think Erika Kirk knew that this was going to happen with Turning Point? You think she really asked to be put into the spotlight under these circumstances? Do you really think she wants to be the CEO because her husband was assassinated on national television? Do you really think that this is how she wanted to assume that position? If he were still alive, he would still be the CEO, you dingus. She's the rightful next of kin. This is how this works. I don't think Candace Owens does not know how next of kin works. But we're talking about the same person that posted up Charlie Kirk's medical file without Erika Kirk's consent because they're not friends. And now you're saying you don't get to pick and choose when you want to be in the spotlight? I hope Erika Kirk does not watch this. And if she does, please don't respond to her. Don't respond to Candace Owens. She's doing this intentionally. She's trying to get a response out of Erika Kirk. This makes no sense. Candace, you're doing this to get views, and you're sitting here feeding the monkeys in the zoo. You're throwing out red meat to your base, trying to get them riled up on this nonsense. And now you're going to make them as cold and cold-hearted and callous as you are.
Quoting this to Mikey McCoy, it's like everybody wants to be famous until you're famous. Okay. We want privacy now. Well, it doesn't actually work that way. You don't get to be like, I want to marry you and I want to be a princess and then become a princess. You're like, well, I don't want to be a princess, right? It's kind of, you got to pick one or the other. So if there were turning point individuals who were so traumatized that day and they needed to go away, I mean, I had to go away for 2 weeks to collect my thoughts about the trauma that I saw having watched it. And a lot of people I know that had to take breaks. I had to take the show off the air for a couple of days and they just, needed time to process. It'd be a little bit different. Actually, it almost came across like they needed zero time to process and they were kind of annoyed that the world needed time to process. And then the things that they were telling us were lies. We were able to factually debunk things that we were being told.
No, you didn't. You didn't debunk anything. Where's the video of Tyler James Robertson walking with a woman? You said you was going to post up that video. Candace, where's the gag order that you said you were going to violate? Now, I know there's no gag order with Candace Owens' name in it. And Candace Owens, at the very least, if she was to be held against a protection order of any sort, it would be if she is considered to be a witness. I don't think anyone wants to consider her a witness. And she's trying to invoke herself into this whole investigation by any means necessary, I guess. I'm just floored at her saying you don't get to pick and choose when you want fame. Are you out of your... She's out of her mind. This girl has lost her mind.
And then you've got people like Tyler, who's featured in this, Tyler Boyer, who I like, you're the chairman and the CEO. Tyler Boyer is a sexual deviant, right? Why do we have to like give, because he was at the hospital, give him grace? It's like, no, this is the company. This is now what's at the head of the company. Charlie's not there. We want to make sure that this company is going to be committed to truth. We want to make sure this company is not going to be.
We who? You don't care about the company. You don't work there. You have no role there, Candace Owens. You have no power when it comes to Turning Point USA. You're not running the show. You are a non-factor in the world of Turning Point USA. You are a non-MFing factor. Do you understand? They don't care what you think and how you feel. Why do you think the cameraman gave the video evidence to the FBI and not you? You're not that important. She sounds jealous. It's like she's so mad and jealous that she's not the CEO of Turning Point USA. You got a platform of 5 million people. Why do you care? You're trying to run a company and they don't even care about your opinion. And you're the main one pushing out these conspiracy theories and attacking everyone that works there. And you're telling Erika Kirk, well, you don't get to pick and choose when you're in the fame. This is where you need to draw the line between being CEO and being a widow. The F you say?
Telling us that we can't care about this or not be focused on that because we need to decide whether this is still the same company. That's what it means, right? Is this still the same company? And so I think with the McCoy thing, everyone wanted a stage until you got a stage, okay? And people started going lie, right? Case in point, Alex Clark wanted to do the Wall Street Journal thing until I caught like this little lie. And it's like, what are you saying this thing about Catholics? That's not true. Okay, take the stage or don't take the stage, but it can't be in between. And then suddenly, when the public turns against you, I don't want a stage anymore. That would be my response to that. And I do not have any sympathy for Rob McCoy. I have no sympathy for Mikey McCoy. I have no sympathy for Tyler Boyer.
No one asks you or care if you do. And I can tell you right now, if Charlie Kirk was still alive, he would not allow you to disrespect his pastor. He wouldn't allow it. He would have gone off on you and slept peacefully. You know, because brain rot.
I think telling the truth is a very easy thing to do when you have a microphone. And
they don't owe you any information.
Truth, it just makes you look more suspicious. And I can give you an example of that. There was some kid who was wearing green at this UVU event, right?
That's not an example. If you're picking out someone out of the audience and you don't even know who these people are, that's not an example. It's a bad example. You claim to know people by name and face at Turning Point USA. Why is this your example of some random person that was at the UVU campus with a hat on? Out of the thousands of people there. Why is this your example? To prove that moot point that you're not proving to anyone. It's a moot point. It's irrelevant.
He looked kind of shady. There was a ton of rumors. We got a bunch of emails, but I never covered it on the show because I didn't think there was anything beyond the fact that he looked kind of shady in a green hoodie. And I think it was yesterday, Sam Parker was like, who are these guys? And I can't get a clear image of this person. I then respond to him like, here's a clear image of this person. The actual person wearing the green hoodie then responds very quickly. He's like, that's me. Sorry, I dress weird. I think he's on the soccer team at UVU. And that's it. It's over. And nobody is talking about the green hoodie. Here is Colby Sessions. Hey, guys, this is me. My teammate and I were just on campus to get food and stop by the event. We always wear silly stuff like that. Sorry, guys. That's it. How easy.
But they don't owe you that. What the hell? Candace, they don't owe you that. That kid did not owe you an explanation. He could have just ignored you and it would not have mattered. It should have been the same result. You're expecting every single person, random strangers that was at the event, to somehow give an account for their presence. You're out of your mind if you really think that a bunch of strangers are going to start going online to try to figure out what it is you want from them. Just because you don't have any real evidence to produce to prove that there was a co-conspirator. You have no tangible evidence to prove none of the stuff that you've been saying for 12 weeks straight. And now you're fishing for information. You're fishing to call people out that you have no idea who they are and subjecting them to your cyber harassment and bullying, your dumb candy ass cult followers that are going to go out here and dox that poor kid and look into him. And for what? Because you thought it was weird for him to wear a green hoodie. Dear God in heaven, you can't make this up. Oh, no, I don't. I think his sneakers, they're black and red. Yeah, no, I find that to be weird. Now someone has to justify their existence on earth because Candace Owens found someone wearing black and red sneakers to be weird. That's how simple this example is. I just thought it was weird how he was dressed. He's wearing a green hoodie or something. Oh, okay, that's it. It's that simple. No, they don't owe you anything.
Right? How
She's
easy.
so
He's not like,
entitled.
I'm a victim. Call a lawyer. I can't believe somebody asked a question. I can't believe there's interest in this event where an assassination took place. No, people are asking because they're well-meaning, and he just comes right back and answers it, and it's over.
No, it's not.
That's how easy, that's how quick, that's how painless it is when you simply tell the truth. And I just don't feel that any...
What was he lying? How was he lying? You thought it was weird he was wearing a hoodie. How was he lying, Candace? That's what you failed to present. How was he lying about anything? Anytime you say something about someone, you're subjecting them to cyber harassment. How was that kid lying? He didn't lie about anything. He didn't say anything. You saw something. You thought it was weird. That's it. You're treating people like they owe you an account of their existence on earth. He was at an event. So what? You weren't there. Here's the thing. Candace Owens was not there. Candace Owens probably wasn't even watching. Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk were not that close at the time of his death. Candace Owens and Erika Kirk still are not friends. And Candace Owens is not the CEO of Turning Point USA. Those are facts, girl. Those are facts, Helfer.
Anything that's been easy to clarify has been done. And it can't be because they're in a state of mourning, because they were like back on their feet the next day and giddy and sharing memories and talking about what happened on that day in detail. So except for the parts that we want to know about. I don't know. Doesn't work for me. Anyways, if you guys want to watch that in its entirety, you definitely should. It is available on Fox News Prime Time, Jesse Waters. And that's what we're going to say about that. Take a brief break, and we're going to get into some Christian Zionist influencers.
Oh, God.
Because, you know, she's a lot more measured when I'm ticked off about something. And I realize that this particular subject is just, I just instantly want to go claws out. And there's a lot of great things about Ali Stuckey. I've actually worked with Ali Stuckey at various events. I've spoken with Ali Stuckey. She's been on my podcast multiple times. She's been a panelist back when I was on the Daily Wire. I'm referring to, she debated my husband before I was Catholic. They had a very good sit down, and she's always been very kind. Behind the scenes, I will always tell you guys, if there's tea, there actually isn't any on Ali Stuckey. She's always been a very lovely person. And especially because when I was first coming into the industry and people were dunking on me for all sorts of things, she actually like hosted me on her show and had a conversation rather than just kind of joining the choir. So yeah, I am not addressing this because...
Yeah, let me tell you something. You don't need to have someone do a sit down with you for us to see who you really are. You know how I've gotten to know who Candace truly is and her pattern of behavior? Yeah, by reading her lawsuits. Candace, how's that recurring yeast infection working for you?
Ali is a bad human being. And I'm addressing this because she has been addressing me, actually, subtly, subtweeting these sorts of things. And I feel like it's fair that when people engage in that sort of behavior that I get to respond. Somehow people are allowed to talk about me, and then when I respond, some people will suddenly be like, I stand with so-and-so. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just answering someone. For me, this topic, Charlie Kirk, who murdered him, there isn't a single topic in politics that is happening on this planet that I care more about, okay? It is the killing of Charlie Kirk and nothing else for me. And in the aftermath...
Oh, no, because that lawsuit from a whole world leader, is somehow not important to her. But yet, they're too busy trying to get the case dismissed. Because jurisdiction and all. Candace, you're not this smart, girl. And your attorneys, they're teetering a very fine line by lying to the court about some jurisdiction, by trying to say that you don't have anything registered in the state of Delaware when we all know you do. And you're welcome. I looked it up already. Where's the evidence on these 2 degrees that you said you have now? Can you produce evidence on that? You don't care about anything else, but you're willing to lie about having 2 degrees. Where's the evidence, Candace Owens, that you have 2 degrees? What's the name of the school you attended that got those 2 degrees from?
Of his assassination, people were downright nasty to me. You saw that. It was definitively not
Downright
organic.
not
It was this
nasty.
weird need to assert his legacy as a Christian Zionist. By the way, I'm not
Oh,
including
no.
Allie in the
Words.
downright nasty category whatsoever. But
Downright
she was one of the
nasty.
voices who cast unnecessary shade, I would say, at my account of him becoming Catholic curious. And it was unnecessary, I would say,
Oh,
only
God.
because she could have texted me. She has my number. This is one of the things that Matt Walsh recently said, that he views it as such a form of disloyalty when you have access to an individual, but you will instead go onto your platform to say something about that individual when you could ask for clarity, right? She could have messaged me and say, hey, I've never heard anything about Charlie being interested in Catholicism. And I would have said to her, hey, privately, yeah, he was going to mass sometimes daily. He was going on Sundays. He died of the pendant, but that didn't happen. Anyways, she's asserted that she's a friend of Charlie Kirk. She certainly has.
No, Candace, you're saying that he converted and he was thinking about becoming full-blown Catholic. We know what Charlie said about Catholicism and what he admired about it. You, on the other hand, were talking about him converting to Catholicism and praying to the rosary. You're trying to mix in things that could be true about him making a prayer or attending mass to a concept that is not true, such as him converting to Catholicism and turning away from being pro-Israel. You see what happens when you tell little lies? You seem to forget the lies that you told when you can just watch your own content to see what the hell you said. Because that's exactly what we're doing. We're listening to the words coming out of your mouth, which is why I always put on the closed caption, because I want to read it to make sure I'm not mishearing something. So you can't say you didn't say that because the words are right here.
Worked with Charlie Kirk for years. All that is true. We are natural allies because we are committed to wanting there to be justice and genuinely are both upset by Charlie being no longer here, not seeing where Charlie was supposed to go in his life, having his life cut short in the most traumatic terms possible. But it feels to me that there are some people who only want to use their platforms to dispel something that I am saying that they think is untrue, even when I present proof that it is true. And an example of that is this morning.
Where's the proof on the actual video footage of Tyler James Robinson walking with the woman? You said you would post that up. Where is a copy of this gag order you said you would violate? Because I would love to tell the judge you're going to violate a court order. Just so they can have your behind held in contempt. Post that order up. Post up the evidence on you having 2 degrees. These are things that you have said where there is no factual proof or evidence to support it. Did you violate the gag order, Candace? And where's the order that you violate? In order for you to violate a court order, one must have a court order to begin with. So where's this gag order? You see how you say things and you don't have evidence to prove it. And those are big lies you tell. Not little ones, big ones. And those big lies are becoming a mountaintop because you just can't help yourself. You know, because me, my, and I.
So yesterday, I said to you guys, as a person who worked at Turning Point USA, who toured with Charlie the most, okay, there's not a single person who can say I headlined more Turning Point USA campus tours than Candace Owens. I know what I'm talking about, right? It's a very strange thing to not know what the inner workings are and to then accuse somebody who shows an email, as I did yesterday, that these events are booked the semester before, okay? There's a long waiting list. Everybody wants Charlie or Candace, whoever it is, Don Jr., to come to their campus, and they make those requests early. The Turning Point chapters, they have so many of them. And so they are constantly running behind on those requests, and it's a very long process because the administrations at these campuses naturally hate Turning Point USA in particular because Charlie started the organization to disrupt college campuses. So they give these kids a very hard time over everything. When I tell you a hard time, when Charlie and I were speaking at Stanford, the student who put the event together, her grandfather owned one of the buildings at Stanford. Like her name was on one of the buildings at Stanford University, and they still gave her a hard time pulling this event together, right? It doesn't matter. It's more the sentiment of who you are as a political person and as a political organization, and they will try to stop you. And that is why it is strange, as in it has never happened while I toured for 9 semesters, 2019, the summer, 8 semesters.
She only worked there 2 years. Candace, you only worked for Turning Point for 2 years. You know, right after your education and early career on Wikipedia, it says that you only worked there 2 years. Where did those 2 degrees come from? Because you have yet to prove that. And yet you said that flat out. You didn't imply it. You did not even insinuate the notion. You said, to which I have now obtained 2 degrees. I can literally play that back for you. Just like you said, you wanted the blood of the First Lady of France because I can get my doctor to fly out real quick, get some blood, take care of this. She doesn't owe you blood, girl. Candace Owens has learned nothing. You can sit here and soundbite me talking about big man, but somehow you've missed the mark on the fact that you did ask for the blood of the First Lady. Girl, bye, Felicia.
With Charlie, like in a row, it's never happened that a college makes a request
No
over
evidence.
the summer when school is closed, because it was, okay, at the end of July, school was not in session, and then it gets honored by Turning Point USA immediately, and then it's on the calendar. Could you imagine the university getting that email? They already hate Charlie Kirk, and they're going to honor it and be like, not only do we want to honor this, we'll give you the first week back to school. Like, that's what they're telling us, and it doesn't make any sense, and I pointed that out, and I showed proof of that. What are you disagreeing with actually? Like, when you jump into this, what is motivating your disagreement would be my question. I will read her tweets, and then I will respond to them. So she does a total false debunking by sharing a private message exchange between her and Charlie. This is what she tweeted. She said, the latest claim is that TPUSA must have been in on Charlie's murder because the UVU campus stop was approved in July. It was not approved in July. It was requested in July. And that's too short of a timeline for an event in September. That is not true. Charlie texted me at the end of August for a campus event in early November. That's about 2 months out. And the reason he didn't specify which campus is because he didn't even know yet. He just knew it was going to be in Alabama. So yes, it does seem like part of this year's campus tour was being put together at the last minute, and UVU being booked over the summer isn't actually unusual. No, hey, would love to have you join us on campus on November 3rd. What does this prove? It proves that Charlie invited her to join.
What does any of your text messages you've released out prove? Because it certainly does not prove that there was anyone else involved in the shooting. Because isn't that what you're supposed to be talking about? You want to sit here and talk about somebody releasing a text message, and that's exactly what you did times 1 million. Plus his medical file that you should have never published, girl. Somehow disseminating this man's medical information that was unlawfully sent to you in violation of HIPAA privacy laws, and you failing to get consent from Erika Kirk went over your head. But you want to talk about this text message of would love to have you on November 3rd. You're asking, what does that mean? What does it mean when you say you have 2 online degrees, or that black mold you chose to live with was for 6 months and not pay rent somehow gave you recurrent yeast infections? What does that mean?
Him on campus on November 3rd. If he is giving you multiple locations, and I'm telling you this as someone who I worked for this organization, Allie, okay? It's probably because these are this is already approved. They're doing these campuses already. He's asking you which one to choose. Many times these students will be told to hold 2 dates that can possibly work. And they're going to get back to them and confirm and see who's available. They did not start planning that event when Charlie texted you. I can guarantee you that, okay? They did not receive a request from those campuses on that day. It's an absurdity. I don't even know what we're debating. She then follows it up and she says this, so, since some of you guys are struggling, because people pointed out that's not what Candace said. It's a request that went from UVU chapter to Turning Point USA. She says that some of you guys are struggling, no venue yet, 2 months out. There's clearly a venue because Charlie is saying in this chat, November 3rd Mikey McCoy actually, November 3rd at 6:30 p.m. Either Auburn, which has 5,000 seats, or the University of Southern Alabama. Now, I told you that Charlie and I would divide and conquer, so there'd be multiple events going on at the same day. Charlie would headline one, I would headline the other. I will guarantee you, and I checked, they did both of these this semester because that's how it works, okay? He's asking you which one you want to join.
Who told you that, girl? Turning Point USA needs to stop giving Candace Owens information. You all don't owe her anything. And right now, you're just feeding her more content for her videos, because I don't know what this has to do with whatever moot point she thinks she's proven by producing evidence to show someone else shot Charlie Kirk. Isn't that what she's supposed to be talking about, his assassination? She's too busy trying to debunk something because she's mad at someone else posting up messages. Oh no, Charlie Kirk had other friends. Oh no. Oh no. You posting up this and you're highlighting the comments here. And for what, Candace? What's your point in this? Do you realize the 2 years you worked there was still over 5 years ago? Do you understand that things could have changed between the last date of your employment there and as of today in the year of our Lord 2025? They could have changed a bunch of operational procedures and guidelines there. You didn't even know about the security and the fact that they had a camera behind him. Like, there could have been so many changes made and implemented between her working there and now. It had been years since she worked for Turning Point. Make this make sense. She worked there for 2 years, people.
They might both be holding the auditoriums
years.
that they need to, but this was not being planned when they messaged you. They didn't receive the request the day they messaged you and say, hey, do you want to make this happen? I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know what the nature of this is. Then you get Lila Rose, who jumps in for no reason at all, other than the fact that she's a committed Christian Zionist. And she says something that's so far from the mark. At least Allie's showing something relevant to Turning Point USA, even though she maybe didn't watch what I said or she's confused about what the conversation was. It's well-meaning, okay? Lila Rose just comes out of left field with like, we're talking about apples and here's an orange. I speak regular.
Candace, you haven't done anything well-meaning in months. You put out an 8-part series saying that someone was born a man with no scientific evidence. And you want to sit here and talk about how you put out proof and evidence? No, you don't. You manipulate videos and photos and clips of things and twist it up. When at the end of the day, the only evidence you need to prove someone whether someone's born a man or had a sex change is scientific evidence. That would be DNA. Because genetics and science are a thing. You know, things you would have learned more about had you stayed in school. Go back to school, Candace.
Really on college campuses as well. She starts with, this is not true. This is not true. What is not true? I showed the email. What is not true? I speak regularly at college campuses as well. As one example, I was just asked to speak at Stanford and they were going to set the event up within 3 weeks.
She's glad somebody fact checking her.
It didn't happen. It didn't materialize. They asked you to speak. What's the context? How many students? And then she goes on and she gives an example. When I debated a few weeks ago at Yale, the event was also planned within 2 months. Okay, so this is what happened when the chief debater, Charlie Kirk, is murdered. We're left with this, the people who can't think through the apples and the oranges. Lila, I am sure that if Taylor Swift tweets that it took her team a year to put together her tour, I'm not going to respond and be like, this is not true. I toured Taylor Swift at campus events, and we were able to pull the event together in 6 months. Apples, oranges. So that Yale event that Lila Rose spoke at was with the Yale Political Union. So it's existed since 1934. It runs like a well-oiled machine. I've spoken at the Oxford Union. Exactly. They speak in the same place at the same time. They change the people that are speaking. Really? You sit down with them. You have a dinner. This is Oxford again, not Yale. I've not spoken at Yale. You have a dinner and you debate somebody. Okay, it's a debate union. It's what they do and what they've been doing since 1934. Lila had, and here's a picture of it. She's comparing this 70 people that attended this debate to Turning Point USA hosting a debate with thousands of people, sometimes a vice president, sometimes a president. Like, what are you debating? What are you actually, like, when you pause and you think through, what are you debating me on? If you are going to dispute me, simply show me the information of somebody making a request and having it instantly be honored at Turning Point USA.
Why would they need to do that if you claim you work there and you know how that works? Candace, you're not making a point either. I mean, this is a rather moot thing that you're even bringing up to begin with. You're not proving anything either. You said you worked there, you toured with him more than anyone else, and you know how all of this works. Never mind, Charlie Kirk had a wife that also toured with him sometimes. Yeah, never mind that. You're saying you toured with Charlie more than his own wife. Okay, so in the 2 years you worked there, I don't understand. You claim you know how this works. You understood the process. Unless the process changed somehow since the last time you worked there, then wouldn't you expect it to be the same? Why are you acting as if you don't understand how the process works with a booking and someone now needs to show you how it's done? Why? Why is that necessary? You're not going to book anything with Turning Point, so what does it matter?
Which runs like a machine, absolutely. But these events are big, okay? Ambulances are required. The university has to tell you, okay, well, if you've got 1,500 people, then this is the state law. They have to confirm they're available. This is the insurance that has to be, blah, 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 blah. Not the same thing, Lila, when you are debating an older woman regarding abortion in a political union, okay? It's just not the same. So again, I ask, what is their investment that they are coming undone about me telling the truth? Because now I have to take the time and be Queen Petty and go through
you don't.
every
You're
single
already
year dating
petty.
back to 2018 to tell you when they got the events together, because I can do that.
Okay, so that was the last time you worked there in 2018. You realize, Candace Owens, that was 7 whole years ago. 1 year representing the day that God made some things happen with creation on earth. And upon the 7th day, he rested. What is your point? You don't have to do any of this. No one's telling you to do this. You and the devil coming up with this nonsense, and you just regurgitate it from a script that you're reading on your show. No one told you to do this.
Do every semester from 2018 until 2024. What's the point here? I'm going to do it. Savannah, I'm sorry. We have to do this.
Oh dear Lord!
But what are
No,
you?
don't.
What's the point
No one
of disputing
cares,
something and
Candace.
saying something is not true when I just told you it's true and I showed you evidence that it's true? You're not even saying
She's
you're just
fact
lying.
checking her.
Actually, at that point, you're being extremely dishonest at the very least to make a video and say he's not becoming Catholic. That's not. He was a committed evangelical. Say I don't know. Just say I don't know. Why are you making these videos?
No, they're not gonna
I
say what you
actually
want
do
them to
know,
say.
and I'm sharing information that I know because we deserve answers.
You're sharing information that you came up with because you're finding everything suspicious. It's not what you know, because you're not proving it to be a fact. Just because it's your opinion does not make it a truthful one. These words have different definitions and meanings. You might want to get a dictionary, Candace. Truth, fact, opinion, all 3 different words with 3 different meanings. The thing about this is she's having a dumb conversation with herself at this point. She acts as if no one can fact check her or respond to her and show receipts. Like the idea of someone challenging her is so far beyond her. And now she's like, and now I have to be Queen Petty. No, you don't. You can keep living. You got 4 kids and a husband to take care of. Candace, I know you watching. Why the hell are you even thinking about doing something like that? When do you have time with your husband to make him a sandwich? When you gonna make him a
When
sandwich?
there are strange anomalies. Now, is it possible that somebody knew somebody and made a phone call and made it happen? Yeah. But we, the public around the world who don't trust what we are being told, would like to know who that somebody was that made that event come together very quickly, faster than I've ever seen an event come together, given how universities
No one
act
cares.
with
No,
hostility toward
not unusual.
conservative groups that host a lot of people, which is what Charlie was, who Charlie was as a person. He was somebody that was met with hostility by administrations when he went there, okay? Because it meant there were going to be protests. They will burn you in effigy, as they did to Michael Knowles at a Turning Point USA event. There has to be certain parameters that are set to allow these particular events to happen. But I appreciate you sharing your experience. And the next time Taylor Swift tweets about her experience, I'm going to just be like, not true. Not true. Taylor Swift is like, I can't walk into the mall. I'm like, me neither. That's not true. I walked in. No fans ran up at me, Taylor Swift. So obviously Taylor Swift's lying because it didn't happen to me.
No, Candace. There's a difference. People like Taylor Swift. That's that. There you go. Being that is a fact that can be statistically proven. Taylor Swift is more popular than you. People watch you for these dumb conspiracy theories, but they also see you're not a good person. You don't have a soul. Look at his freeze frame, y'all. Yeah, we got to pray again because this looks like a whole demon trying to peer through. Candace, you got to take care of them recurrent yeast infections. They're messing with your mind, girl.
It doesn't, as Justin Bieber says, it's not clocking for us, man. Anyways, it is weird to me also that when you look at what they focus on, it seems so petty, but then they look over all of the glaringly obvious lies that were being told about this investigation. Like they're not making videos going, oh, hey, yeah, spoke to like 10 hunters and a 30-06 should have decapitated him. They don't care about any of that stuff. So are you doing this because you care about Charlie? Are you doing this because you care about the investigation? Because if you're going to investigate. Okay? Send me a text message and ask me a specific question and say, where'd you get this information from? Join the team of people.
No. You're not investigating anything because you're not licensed or certified to do it, and you don't even have a college degree. So no, ma'am. Nope. You're bad at this. That's the problem, Candace. You can release factual evidence and documentation in accordance with laws because you cannot release someone's medical information without consent, whether they're dead or alive. So you can release facts and evidence and documentation without revealing your sources. But if you're doing that consistently, people will trust the information, especially if it's something that anyone can research. There's a difference. When I release facts and evidence, I can typically drop a link or I can guide you all to where I got that information from, because that's what good journalists do. And if I say that I have sources giving me information on things and I can't reveal my source, then what I do is try to corroborate the information that I release from the source with information and facts that is something that the public can research online. So if I put up a post or a photo from a source about Umar's mom, then I'm going to corroborate it with a post that Umar himself has said about his own mother. You see that, Candace? That's how it's done. You're bad at this. Just admit it. 2 people checked you today and you don't like it.
People online who I never knew before this, who are investigating this murder and using sources, do that. Either join us or get out of our way, is what I would say. Because if you're not going to make a video, or you are going to make a video about a glaring obvious hole and then just poo-poo it, which is kind of what Allie did regarding the Fed Discord messages. I watched a clip. She like softens it and says, well, even if these are written by the feds, I still think he was murdered by Tyler Robinson. Okay, so you're willing to give grace to the feds when they're maybe lying, but you can't assume that I'm telling the truth about my experience having worked.
No, because you're not. You're not proving anything. Where's the gag order? Where's the video of Tyler James Robinson walking with a woman? Why did you release a tip knowing that someone admitted to being paid to tell you a tip? What makes that tip credible, Candace? You're very bad at this. You're not a journalist, girl. You're a blogger. You might as well just call yourself, a gossiper. You're like a gossip column that believes that you're number one. I don't even know where she got that from.
An organization, and the actual evidence that I have to back up what I'm saying, you have no grace on the matter of whether or not he might have been getting curious about Catholicism. Is the goal to tell the truth? Okay. Why aren't you guys doing shows if you're so interested in debunking lies? Have you done a show about Josh Hammer? When we drop the text messages, did you do a show and go, wow, Josh Hammer really lied about Charlie Kirk's mindset? Because it's starting to feel a little bit like propaganda, and it's the worst type of propaganda to me when you cage it as like Christian shouldn't or Christian should. I'm investigating this. I care about it. And it is my perspective that if you're in my way, I'm just going to breathe fire and expose the truth. When I say breathe fire, it just means showing the truth, showing more truth. I'm going to pull up, like I said, every email so that there is no debate or dispute about how long it takes for these events to go together. Okay. Yeah, that's that. I don't love the crickets of these things. Also, I will also mention that Allie has strangely hired Alyssa Cordova, and this is just not a match for me. Alyssa Cordova was formerly the head PR person at Daily Wire. And when I tell you that this woman is evil, it's hard to put into words the things that she has put people through, and she does it for the sport of it. Like, she's one of these people that keeps a folder on her desk and she intentionally has out of context clips, which she then sends to people, a whole little orbit of bees online, like Ian Miles Chong, who's like a despicable human being, and says like, attack this person. And she'll do this, by the way, even if you're working with her, like she will undercut you and do these sorts of things. And so when I see this kind of turn and I see that Alyssa Cordova is working with you, I'm wondering if this is just kind of like Zionist nastiness. I think I've been extremely gracious to the different perspectives that we have. If we are all committed to truth, we are obviously able to debate. And I'm happy, by the way, I'll add this as well.
No, Candace, no. Because you saying some just flat out, false statements. You're giving false statements, and you want to sit here and talk about, oh, I'm happy to debate these things. No one is going to debate a lie. That's not what people do. Speaking of lies, let me just show you all this right quick. This is podscribe.com, because Candace said she was number one. Candace, no, you're not. The Daily NYT Crime Junkie and the Joe Rogan Experience held their positions in the top 3, reaching 11.1 mil, 10.8 mil, and 6.2 mil listeners respectively. Today, Explained made some waves and enters at number 9 in audio reach. Candace is making moves the past couple of months, standing at number 6 last month. The show has now climbed to the top of the charts with 3.5 mil downloads and views per episode. That's not number 1. You're not beating the top 3 positions. They're saying that you have reached higher with downloads and views because we're all talking about how crazy you are. And that's all you need to be, I guess, is nutty. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose your soul? Candace, you said you were number 1, top of the charts. Having the most views and downloads does not make you number one. You still got to beat the Daily, Crime Junkie, and the Joe Rogan Experience. So, just some facts for people, because Google. This is a Google search. Why lie about this? Candace, where did you get your 2 degrees from again? Because I'm still waiting on that.
Well, to have Allie or Lila Rose on this show tomorrow, if you guys would like to debate what I have presented thus far, in addition to me telling you how Turning Point USA operates their events. I'm happy to do that and bring the evidence of what I'm saying. That always stands open. You will have a platform. If you are committed to truth, my platform is your platform. Now, speaking of PR and
dear Lord,
people who should maybe get into it, Alex Clark needs a raise. I don't even know what she's doing over at Turning Point USA. This gets back into, Erika Kirk as a CEO. We watched her lie, okay? We watched her lie about the Catholic thing. We're supposed to just feel good about that and think that she's traumatized, but she wasn't traumatized when she wore boots and stood outside for Wall Street Journal to click a picture of her a couple of days after Charlie died. I don't know. It feels like she was good, and she's a star now and tried to hard launch her podcast. She actually tweeted a couple of things the last couple of days, dripping with anger.
Candace just hating on this girl. Why are you hating on her? Candace, you will never be CEO of Turning Point USA, no matter how hard you try.
Towards people that are asking meaningful questions. Here's one thing she wrote. Let me tell you something about Mikey. He's a mate. Just kidding. She didn't say that. I'm one of the longest tenured employees now at the organization. And Mikey has a servant's heart, if ever I've seen one. You know why he went to Korea and Japan? Because my boss, our productions director, who is the father of 6 children, asked him to. He is always traveling with me a good portion of it, and he missed his kids, and he asked Mikey to please go and film instead. Okay. I'm just going to say, I think he probably went to Japan and Korea because it's an awesome opportunity. I don't know. I'm just a person who's been around a lot. And if I said, hey, do you guys want to go to Japan? Hip, hip, hooray. It's amazing. It's not exactly, going to build a house. House for Habitat.
Why? Hold on. Why are you downplaying this? And then you're stuttering. That means you're off script. Candace, get back on script. You're not good with winging it. That's not your forte, girl. Why are you hating on this? What are you talking about? I don't understand your whole thoughts about this young lady at all. I just don't. You hate everybody at Turning Point, and you're criticizing Erika Kirk because she's now a widow and CEO, and you just telling her, as a widow, you're just gonna have to get over it. I'm just gonna keep pushing out my conspiracy theories. I don't care about your children. The end. That's your sentiment on that. What point are you proving here, girl?
Habitat houses, whatever it's called, House for Habitat in the middle of the jungle or something like that. I think this is a pretty exciting opportunity. And so I don't understand why we just can't get basic answers about Mikey McCoy that would allow us to just move on from how we are feeling about his behavior following things and the things that were said about him following things, which make us feel like they were priming him to take over for Charlie. And we heard these things from his father. We heard these things from people at Turning Point USA. And if you're looking for a fact, he took over for Charlie, who was slated to speak at Liberty University. Okay, that's just a fact. Alex Clark also threw shade at us, and it's kind of incredible that she said this working for Turning Point USA. Here's what she wrote. On every podcast tribute episode I did about Charlie, I did not run my ad sponsorships. My directive and choice to my team. We are now in debt to my sponsors. I didn't care. It felt like the right thing to do. Okay, so.
I said the same thing, Candace. Why the hell you keep running your sponsors in every video? You've made enough money off of Charlie Kirk's death to where you should be able to talk about this and not have your sponsorships thrown in every video. You can do a separate video for your sponsors if you want. The obligation to mention your sponsors does not always have to fall in every video you do about Charlie Kirk. You can talk about anything else and throw in a sponsor. Hell, she could do like a 5-minute video about something else and then talk about her sponsors in that. Why are you throwing your sponsors in these videos? Because it gets more views. It gets more views, Candace. Do you really think your sponsors are upset that you're bringing them up in your views, in your videos, where you're getting 2 to 3 million views a day? Where you're getting all these downloads and you have news reporters reporting on what you said. 3.5 million downloads and views per episode this month. Of course, your sponsors want you to talk about them in the Charlie Kirk videos because you're getting 3.5 million views per episode. And you've been at this for 12 weeks straight. So if that's 12 weeks times 5 days a week, that's 60. 60 episodes. Because we're not counting weekends here. Where you've talked about Charlie Kirk and your sponsors, and you're getting 3.5 million views and downloads per episode. Of course, your sponsors want you to keep talking about them. Of course they do. It's more money for them. But if you don't care about money, why bring them up? That's her point.
Turning Point made something like $90 million in the couple of weeks following Charlie's death. I think I first heard 70 million.
Yeah, a lot of it donations, girl.
They were selling like t-shirts at the memorial event, like Freedom Charlie t-shirts. They were selling products. And she is, I guess, trying to imply that me speaking about his death and running ads is problematic. Now, first and foremost, on our tribute episode, we ran absolutely 0 ads. We didn't even let YouTube run ads on that episode. So this is not a tribute episode.
Just one episode out of the 60. I'm sorry. So 59 episodes, you had ads running. And they were running like every 15 minutes. I mean, good grief. You don't have to run them, Candace. In every episode you talk about with Charlie Kirk. That's the point. Most people can say that. You're selling t-shirts and hats and cups and all this other stuff and profiting off his death. You're profiting off the Macrons and they're suing your ass. So what are you talking about? Everything you talk about is a profit for you.
It's my podcast and we're investigating this murder. And every person who is doing podcasts, whether it's Ali speaking about his Catholic journey, Lila speaking about what happens, whatever context they're putting it into, whether it's PBD and his team, which spoke a lot about Charlie Kirk after he died. Why are you looking at me as being the person who's reading my ads? What are you pretending you made some huge sacrifice because for a couple of episodes you didn't run ads? This is what I mean. There's just so much.
Did she say Candace's name in this thing on post? Because I didn't see her name in that post. Let me go to this post. Hold on. On every podcast tribute episode I did about Charlie, I didn't run my ad sponsorships. My directive and choice to my team. We are now in debt to my sponsors. I didn't care. Felt like the right thing to do. Candace, she didn't even say your name. What are you talking about? Is that your guilty conscience talking again? It's hard to believe that someone could have a guilty conscience when they don't have a soul. But okay. She didn't say your name. If you want to be technical. Your name's not in this post, Candace. Girl, why are you big mad about something that it doesn't even name you? Like, you big mad about this. And she didn't even say your name, Candace. Yeah, soundbite that, girl.
We are now in debt to my sponsors. It bothers me about this. This would suggest that we're engaging in a cover-up. Yes, about things that were happening at Turning Point USA, at the reason why Charlie wanted a Doge as she did. Oh, we do this no, you don't do a Doge every year. You want to know how I know that? Because Doge didn't exist before Elon Musk. So it's like, what are you saying? They want us to pretend we're really dumb. And it's emotionally manipulative for them to be like, that's how you honor Charlie. Pretend to be an idiot. Pretend to not know how accounts work. Pretend to not know what it means when we say certain things and then change our stories multiple times. Pretend like it's just beyond the pale that Candace would suggest that we're engaging in a cover-up. Yes, I did say that. I didn't say that Mikey murdered Charlie Kirk. I said Turning Point is engaged in a cover-up because that is literally the only reason that people lie. Anytime you lie, it's because
you have to prove the lie, you idiot. What is the lie, Candace? What did they lie about? Do you understand that you're not an investigator? And if they sued you, then you would have to prove they lied about something because their burden would be to prove otherwise, that they did not lie. Do you understand how highly defamatory this is? See, when you're making provable false statements, Candace, that is the epitome of defamation. And just because you want to call yourself a member of the press when it's convenient for you does not mean that you're not being defamatory either. You just don't care. You know, because you threw a tantrum and all when the Macron sued you. They're going to win.
Because you're covering up the truth. You're engaging in a cover-up, even if it's a white lie. Even if I say, I'm trying to surprise a friend for a birthday party and I tell her, I'm the only one that's going to be there, meet me here. it's a lie because I'm covering up a certain truth, right? That is what lies are for. There's no other reason to lie unless you're covering something up. So when
can't
you
even
lied
prove the
about the
lie.
Catholicism thing, it wasn't because you murdered Charlie Kirk, Alex. It was because likely you guys were more
Likely.
concerned with your Christian
Likely.
Zionist.
Because likely, Candace, that's not proving anything. Why don't you call it your opinion if that's what it is? But you're not proving anything. You've produced zero evidence to even show that they're conspiring in some cover up. That is defamatory. You don't get to say what you want to say without consequences because you big mad at the Macrons. That's not how this works. You know, I hope Erika Kirk sues her for releasing her husband's
donors and also pressure from your Jewish donors. And so you just lied to cover up the truth about where Charlie was at. Turning Point USA is telling a lot of lies. They're engaged in a cover up.
About what?
I said it. I am putting my name on that. I will not be apologizing for what I said. Come forth with the truth.
Oh, she put her name on it. She's like, you staked your career reputation on the fact that you said the fact that Brigitte Macron was born a man and will die a man. And now you're trying to get the defamation lawsuit dismissed as opposed to it moving to the next phase. What the hell is a hearing?
Or don't, okay? And if you don't, we're just going to keep investigating
no.
and see how you feel about it.
You
Take a
can't
quick
make
break
this
and I'll get
up.
some of your comments. All right, you guys, I want to remind you about Paleo Valley because something my team and I are always craving are because we hit a nerve. And so we should focus our attention on how that event came together. If you work for the UVU Turning Point USA chapter and you would like to come forward, please email us at moretips@CandaceOwens.com. And
don't email her. Candace has no way to vet those tips, period. And I hope all the wackos email her so she can just put out more nonsense because she doesn't vet her tips. Yeah, all the candy asses are going to be emailing her a bunch of nonsense, because what happened to those tunnels underground, Candace? What happened to that theory? Or the Egyptian airplane? Something that you don't understand how it works. What happened to the communistic bees? I mean, are you having another vision about someone who's deceased coming to you talking about avenge me? How deep is this going to go again with you and the candy asses? Guess we're here for it.
let us know how that event came together, who requested it specifically. I've got a feeling about that. We're close because they're even talking about lawyers. I mean, Alyssa Cordova, this PR girl actually wrote this. If we could pull up that tweet. I hope you're, no, the other one where she says, did you pull her other tweet where she's like, I don't know the inner workings at Turning Point USA, but here it is. I don't have direct knowledge, but I assume there are non-disparagement agreements in place between Turning Point and Candace Owens because of TPUSA's business arrangement with Flexit. Weird that she knows that we have a business arrangement with Flexit, but she's saying that and it's kind of like dangling like, we could sue me. I want subpoena power. I want all.
Okay, cool. So why are you talking all this mad stuff, girl? And you're filing motions to dismiss. Miss me with your fake outrage. Miss me on that. You all can tweet my video right now and say Lady Luck Club said, go ahead. We would love to see you actually go through the full process of a lawsuit without filing a motion to dismiss on it. Because that's exactly what you're doing with the Macrons. I'm staying on top of that case like white on rice. You talk all this big game, Candace, and then when it's time to step up, you and your attorneys, all three of them, filed a motion to dismiss and tried to get another extension to add in 3,000 words on a piece of paper. You are full of crap, Candace Owens. Why don't you retract that motion to dismiss in the Macron lawsuit and let that go to the discovery phase? You talking about subpoena power? Girl, bye. You are not the CIA. You're not the FBI. You don't have it.
All of your messages. Please do me a favor today on the Charlie Kirk case. I've been clear. I want all of the smoke from all of you. I don't think you realize how real life this is for me. I went back and listened so hard. I was like, girl, don't care at all. Do not care at all. I'm over. We're in a new time. It literally is God time, okay? All of this stuff, and that's how she operates, by the way. She can treat you really evil, but there's...
What God is she serving again? Because I don't think she serves the same God that the rest of us do. Candace, if you want to be sued, which granted, they're going to start suing you. And you and your attorney should not file motions to dismiss either. because you refuse to tell the candy asses that you filed a motion to dismiss in the Macron case. You just refuse to tell them that. You keep talking all this big game and you don't back it up. And when it's time for you to step up, you filed a motion to dismiss twice. And the second time you're asking for the court to strike the first amended complaint of the Macrons. You're out of your mind. She's a coward. Candace doesn't want to go through this legal process. You couldn't even manage to get your visa ban overturned and an appeal. When are you going to issue refunds for those tickets? Girl, stop.
There's an NDA preventing you, so you got to allow her to abuse you. We're not doing this anymore, Alyssa. We're not doing this anymore. Whatever company needs to hear this today, okay? You are no longer allowed to engage in sheer evil. You are no longer allowed to behave like Satan's children and then make little legal threats.
Oh my
okay?
God.
Anything that gets sent to me from a lawyer is now publicized. That's it. Don't care who you are. If you're watching this and you're going, should I screen record and send it to a lawyer? You probably should. Anything that you send to me is now public. Satan's time is done. It's done.
Nope. If a judge says you are under order to not speak of it on your platform, violate that order if you want to and see how fast they won't hold your ass in contempt. You don't override the rule of law, Candace. Your rebelliousness is going to get you effed up, girl. You do not override the rule of law. How dare you sit here and say that you're an American, you talk about God, and yet you don't care about breaking laws or overriding the ruling of a judge. You've already said you're going to violate some gag order that you think exists somehow. Where's that gag order again? I would love to see you violate an order from a court that a judge signed. Go ahead and do it. Because when it comes down to matters of the court, this is why I go over her cases, people. Y'all see why I went over those lawsuits? So you all can see how much of a coward she is. She's not trying to see these cases to the end. She gets mad about it, talks about it. And now you see how she's acting with the Macron lawsuit. She won't tell them that she filed the motion to dismiss. She won't even allow those words to come out of her mouth. Candace, I dare you. I dare you to tell your audience, yes, I filed the motion to dismiss twice. And then explain to them why you did it. Because that's the opposite of trying to get to the discovery phase. I dare you, Candace Owens. Tell your audience that you filed a motion to dismiss and a motion to strike the first amended complaint. Go ahead. Y'all sue her because she ain't going to do that.
Okay? Shouldn't have shot Charlie Kirk. Just shouldn't have killed Charlie Kirk. That's what I would say. Anyways, top comment from yesterday was somewhere Brigitte Macron is breathing a sigh of relief. I don't know, man. Now that the podcast has gone #1, people are going to go back and watch the Brigitte Macron series. And once you watch it, you just know. You're like, she's a dude, obviously. It's such a bizarre thing. Like the media's been lying about that. It's like a really big secret. It's like it's the elephant in the room.
You know, because scientific evidence is something that she understands, I guess. I don't think Candace understands the definition of the word science or human anatomy or biology or anything. So, no. Keep up that good talk while you still seek a dismissal of the case. Go ahead. Your attorney said jurisdiction, was it? The court lacks jurisdiction. Y'all, she's a coward. Sue her.
Dinesh D'Souza, by the way, added this on X. He wrote, at this point, anyone who follows this freak show is doing it for the entertainment. This is not political commentary. It's midget bowling. Why does he always write weird stuff? Hard to watch, but hard to look away from because there's a midget flying down the aisle heading for pins. Dinesh, where are you seeing all this stuff? Before he made the reference to a goat having sex with a human, and he keeps using these weird analogies. Like, I just think they gotta look at his hard drive. I'm going to call the FBI.
Please do, so that then he can return the favor and have them come and look at you. Please let that happen. You've already talked about somebody being treasonous. You've accused congressmen of being treasonous, which is an outlandish accusation, by the way. Now, you should definitely have the FBI investigating you right back.
Call Kash Patel if he's done crying about the mean tweets on the internet for his girlfriend, and I'm going to call the FBI. Anyways, going back into some of your comments, we have Just Keep in Faith writes, when you said you are the #1 podcast in the world, it brought a tear to my eye, but I knew that. I mean, I didn't know, but I knew. Honestly, it brought a tear to my eye when I found out because we've just been fighting and we don't look up and look at the stats and follow the stats every day. And we obviously knew that we had become in like the top 3 podcasts pretty quickly in the United States. But when you're fighting and you're building and you're constantly under pressure, you're constantly in a pressure cooker, it's kind of
You can't make
difficult
this up.
to find a moment to peek your head up and to celebrate anything. And that really felt like this moment. So I was very, very excited. Thank you guys so much for supporting us and allowing us to be truly independent. Michael Reese writes, from East Tennessee to you. We are German. We appreciate your work. Keep standing up to the 7K Club. We have your back, Michael and Wayne. Thank you so much, Michael and Wayne. And we'll continue to stand up to them. And I think we are winning because they were very angry and I don't even know what they're attacking me over at this point. Laughing Catch writes, number 1 podcaster. If you're a so-called freak, per Dinesh, and so are we. I love that you show Erika love and support. I do wish there was some sign that we could detect that she sees the lies that we see. We as in the millions upon millions, making you the number 1 podcaster.
Because there are no lies.
I'm hopeful in the future we are going to know what she knows. Obviously, she is privy as a next of kin to the lawsuits. She's privy, to the prosecution. She can see what evidence they actually have and what they're building their case upon. Everything we have seen has just been, I don't know. It's been one big nothing burger. Tom Paul writes, Andrew Colbert on Alex Clark's show discussed how Charlie's heart was still beating. How did Charlie instantly go to heaven if he had a pulse? Erika first saw Charlie at an airport in Israel in May of 2018 with her mom. There's an old video of her talking about it. Yeah, I think I saw that video. I think they spoke about that even in other videos they've done together. I think I was with Charlie, by the way. That might have been for the embassy opening. I don't remember anything though. My memory, I promise, after having children.
Yeah, no, she doesn't remember, y'all. Why are you saying that you think you remember that? If it's in videos, then wouldn't you just pull up the video, Candace? You're bad at this, girl. Wouldn't you just pull up the video so that people can see whether you with him when they first met? Because you want to invoke yourself in everything. Wouldn't you just pull up the video?
I can't remember specific things.
You can't make this stuff up.
Might have been for the embassy opening. I'm not positive, but yes,
regarding of course she's not positive because she could just watch the video.
If he instantly went to heaven, didn't Andrew offer up an explanation? This was kind of one of the things why people were asking, how did he go into surgery? Because they explained that he had died instantly. It wasn't just Erika, by the way. Frank Turek said it on stage that he knew in the car that he was gone, but maybe he still had a pulse. Again, this would be a great thing since they mentioned it for Andrew or Frank Turek to respond to.
Who verified a pulse?
To clear up
what?
Some confusion. Jesse Webb writes, the amazing, heroic, outstanding, fearless, talented, intelligent, beautiful Queen Candace of podcasts. Take a bow. Nothing can stop you. The people have spoken and we choose truth and light over lies and darkness. Christ is King. I really do love that it feels like we are in a moment of truth and light. A lot is being revealed. It can feel stressful. It is certainly frustrating, especially for me, to have myself constantly taken out of context. And
yeah, because me, myself, and I, and me, and I, and why, and I. Yeah. Did you get that laundry folded up? Y'all know I had to start his comment from Lambert. I'm going to play a game every time Candace says I or me, I'm going to fold a piece of laundry. I should have the whole house folded in 30 minutes. How did that work out for you, man? That was funny. That's comment of the day right there, people. Comment of the day. Comment of the day goes to Lambert. Shout out to you. That was funny. Brilliant. Oh, Candace. Yeah, she's such a coward when it comes to court. Y'all go ahead, Sue.
Have people just so willfully lying about me telling the truth. But I do know that there's just something else happening spiritually right now. And we are all barreling toward the light. I really do feel that way. The demons shriek the loudest when they are in the light. Brad Atkins writes, praying for you in South Carolina. The Lord Jesus Christ is King. Thank you, Brad. MD Turner writes, you are top, even though Australian moronic leaders won't let you in. Keep at them. Well, I get to reapply in like a year or so. So maybe I'll try to come again.
Nope. Tony Burke said, nope. Candace, you owe them money for the court cost. When are you going to pay that judgment? How much do you owe? Why don't you post up some information? You know what? I'm going to look it up myself. How about that?
Down under. Good Bean writes, time will inevitably lessen the sting of losing Charlie. Our brains are designed this way for our protection. So please do not let the little foxes distract you from the mission. Got your back. Let's go. Candy-O. Thank you so much. I am not distracted. This is the one thing they can't distract me on. Trust me. They have no power here. Truly, when it comes to figuring out what happened, I will be relentless. I'm typically relentless over matters that don't have as much significance to my life personally. Brigitte Macron. I mean, that's a broader issue with perverts in power. But this one is... It is just so sinister and so evil. It's incomprehensible to consider what must be true to allow for all of the shade that the people who are asking questions are getting. And I just have known since the very beginning that this is not going to be like JFK. We are actually going to get answers. This is going to be solved. And that's why they're worried, because we won't let it go. We will not let it go. Hana writes, Candace, that was such a wise statement. I cannot forgive until I know what I am forgiving. Thank you for saying. I just obviously I just speak to you guys and whatever's on my heart, and that is how I think I feel because I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I get here? And that's the answer. I don't know what I'm forgiving. Who am I forgiving? How do you say I forgive you? I'm talking about myself here. If I don't know who I should be forgiving, I need to get there. She continues, everyone wrestles with God, no matter how devoted they are to their faith. I hope the truth prevails. Christ is king. Maria writes, thank you for keeping it real. Never let anyone impede your
It
gut
sounds
feelings.
like
When
a
your soul feels
cult.
something is off, it's off. Facts. Yes, we are designed that way. Our gut is our God instinct, and we're being lied to, like by a lot of people, and people that I feel like we shouldn't be lied from are lying to us. Juan Antonio writes, Candace, you should team up with Dave Smith, Ian Carroll, and Jimmy Dore, form a coalition, share editors, push promotion, and spark Occupy Wall Street 2.0, end the Fed, fulfill Tupac's dream of a new party. I
Oh, you
think I'm
kidding
so
me?
traumatized from being at and like working for somebody else, and I don't know that I could ever work for anybody else, but forming a coalition and helping each other. We already do behind the scenes. I haven't done that with Jimmy Dore, but anything, these other people, Ian Carroll, we text regularly. Dave Smith, we text regularly when we're sharing information. So, or asking each other questions or asking for guidance. And I look up to these people for what they're doing. I look not even up to these people. I look beside and I see these people. And I know that we are like in a line united, and there is like an army that's rising. And it feels to me like it is the army of God. I'd love to do work with Jimmy Dore. I have loved his videos, and he has made me laugh in his coverage of the absurd things that we are being told about the Charlie Kirk assassination. Mina Barbie writes, hi, Candace. My name is Mina. You have made such a positive impact on my life. Today is my birthday, and it would mean so much if you said happy birthday. Love you. God bless. Happy birthday, Mina. I hope you have a fantastic day. Your birthday already has.
Okay, she's just reading all these comments. I want to go over these cases right quick, you all, before we end. Let's go to the High Court of Australia's ruling again, because I'm here for it. Candace, this is why I go over this stuff, so people can see. You had at least 2 attorneys on this case, and they still lost like hell, because no one has to let you in their country. This is the summary of judgment from the High Court of Australia, because this is how you present facts and evidence here. She exactly. Did she write the comments herself? You would think so. Like she only goes through the supers where the candy asses are kissing her butt, where they're gloating on her. She avoids like questions that might be neutral, like, can you clarify the education portion? And you got the haters out there saying you don't have your college degree, and then she turns around and lies. So in order for her to prevent from lying, she has to sit here and now go through all these supers where no one is even asking a question that could come back and haunt her. Because Candace, it's going to haunt you for you to sit here and lie and say you got 2 degrees and you have not posted any shred of evidence to prove it. But in the meantime, let's look at the summary judgment here from the High Court of Australia. Candace Owens Farmer v. Minister for Home Affairs. And of course, it says here that they upheld the ruling. The High Court unanimously held that properly construed applies where in the event that the person were allowed to enter or to remain in Australia, there is a risk that the person would stir up or encourage dissension or strife in the Australian community or a segment of that community of a kind or to a degree that is harmful to that community or segment. They don't want your nonsense over there because you would be harmful to a segment of the community in part or the community in whole. No one has time for your nonsense when you're encouraging dissension and strife. Because Nicholas Ray, listening to you and a neo-Nazi, has threatened 3 or 4 Jewish conservatives online with death threats that you have yet to denounce, and you want to challenge people to sue you. I hope they do. Let it be a class action lawsuit, meaning they all can come together and they can just all sue her in one big lawsuit. And make sure, if you guys, Josh Hammer, Laura Loomer, Laura Loomer, all you all, if y'all decide to sue her in one big lawsuit, make sure you name her in her individual and in her professional capacity. So you got to name her and then name Candace Owens LLC and Georgetown Inc. Get all three of them. And ask the court that each party, each co-defendant is forced to pay a separate amount of money in the judgment. That's right. Bankrupt her ass. Because this is what she wants to do to earn the money. So just as fast as you earned that money, Candace, it can be taken away from you. Because what does it profit a man to gain the world and lose the soul while you over here stirring up and encouraging dissension and strife? And you're trying to take this over to a whole nother continent. Because Australia is also a continent. You're trying to take this to another continent. They're not in the mood for your nonsense. By majority, court held that the statute 5016 IV4, this is Roman numeral 4, effectively burdens the implied freedom that any burden imposed by the statute is justified. The court unanimously held that, reading the minister's decision fairly and as a whole, the minister did not misconstrue their law in deciding to refuse to grant Miss Farmer the visa. Candace, you owe them some money. Do you understand? You got to pay court costs to the government for this stupid appeal that you filed because you thought somehow that U.S. laws apply in another country when they don't. They don't have to uphold our laws, and we don't have to uphold theirs. So you don't get to do what you want to do in every other country, especially if it's also a continent where they're sovereign. They make their own laws. And their interpretation of those laws is up to them. No one has time for your nonsense, girl. When are you going to pay them the court costs that you owe them? Because that was part of the judgment. When are you going to pay these court costs and fees? I want to know how much is it going to cost. I want to see the judgment on that. Yeah, I've been looking for anything to show how much she owes the High Court of Australia, the government of Australia, for these court costs. I've been looking. Let me tell y'all right now. I'm still looking. Candace, you lost like hell. You understand? I am here for it. You talking about sue her. I hope they do. While you're at it, why don't you all reference the other two lawsuits that she lost? You know, the one she filed against USA Today, where she told on herself and confirming that her LLC is registered in the state of Delaware because her attorneys obviously can't read. Or the one where she filed against the apartment complex that counter-sued her and they won because she chose to live with mold and not pay rent for 6 months. Candace, you owed them $19,000. I hope you paid that. I hope you paid that. You crying, talking about, oh, they're just trying to bankrupt me. Yeah, okay. Let's look at the case of the Macrons. Candace, you filed a motion to dismiss again with a brief. After your attorneys tried to be slick and asked for an extension at the last minute. Do you all see why I laugh at this girl? This is why I laugh. That motorcycle was hilarious. I know, right? Talking about him getting recurrent yeast infections. Candace, you big mad because they suing the hell out of you. You having to pay on every level, girl. When are you going to remit payment back to those people that bought these tickets? Because here it is. You're a citizen and resident of the U.S. You intended to undertake a speaking tour in Australia in November 2024, which would have been exactly 1 year ago. But you applied for a visa on September 12th, knowing that the speaking engagement was coming up that November. Why didn't you secure the visa first before you scheduled the speaking tour and started selling tickets? Has anyone seen anything where people can get a refund on their money? Candace, you owe a lot of people a lot of money. Has anyone seen anything to where Candace Owens is offering people to get a refund back? Y'all, she went over here and messed around with these people in Australia and pissed them off. And they got mad when they said, get out and don't come back. Kick rocks, girl. Bye. And pay our court costs. Candace, you big man. You talk about big man. No, you sound biting my stuff. At least give me credit. You can't make this up. Candace, you owe some money to a whole nother country for the court costs. You owe them money for the court costs, girl. You sit here talking about, oh, well, it's not a big deal. I can apply for another year or something like that. I don't know. You know, you don't know. They're not playing that game with you. You can't make this up. Y'all, this is the summary of the ruling of the judgment from the High Court of Australia from October 15th. Candace, why don't you just show the court document to your audience? Show them how bad you lost this. Or this. Why don't you show them the court docket? Because, you know, they come over here and watch it on my video. And then they leave dumb comments that make no sense. All the candy asses come over here and they get the real deal. They get the facts and the evidence. They get the court docket activity. And then they still leave dumbass comments that I don't understand. Because, you know, big mad and all. Candace, tell your people to stop being mad about something they can't control. No one said for you to go out and do an 8-part series, accuse someone of being born a man, take away her motherhood, not care about her children or her grandchildren or her husband or the country that they represent. You didn't care about none of that. You just kept running your mouth, and you still are. So they suing the hell out of you. They're going to get millions out of you. Candace, is that why you sitting here weaponizing the death of Charlie Kirk? Because you're trying to garner up as much money as you can to pay these attorney's fees, especially when you have to pay international attorney fees to the 2-3 attorneys that represented you in the High Court of Australia appeal. You still got to pay those attorney's fees too. Plus give back refunds, plus pay back the judgment of the government's court costs. That's just what the High Court of Australia. You know you're paying for your attorneys by the hour. For them to turn around and file a piss poor motion to dismiss based on jurisdiction. Because they didn't even verify whether or not you still have an LLC registered in the state of Delaware. Talking about libel tourism, that's a weak ass argument. To the 3 attorneys, Chad, what's his name? Chad Chandler. Y'all got some weak arguments you presenting. 1 case can be used against your client. That USA Today case. She told on herself. And you all want to come back with this weak argument? Jurisdiction. Strike the First Amendment complaint. Look at this. Defendant's motion to dismiss and to strike the First Amendment complaint to be heard at the convenience of the court because it's going to warrant a hearing. This was docketed just on November 1st. So now the court has to schedule a hearing on the motion to dismiss because Candace Owens is really a coward and does not want to face this lawsuit. Brigitte Macron says she's bringing scientific evidence to court with her, Candace Owens. She's going to have the scientific evidence. She's going to slam dunk you with scientific evidence. There's a whole jury demand here. They don't even need to even think about settling or doing a mediation with Candace Owens. They need to say, nope, she wants to go to the discovery phase. Her wish is our command. We're going to do that. For once, we're going to give her what she wants. You spoiled brat. You're going to get what you want, Candace Owens. That's what needs to happen. They don't even need to entertain the idea of mediation, even though I know Candace's attorneys are going to try to do that before they end up having to proceed to the next phase of this process. These civil procedures can go on unnecessarily forever because of the back and forth with the documents, with the pleadings. Every motion that's filed, it warrants a hearing almost. Candace, why did you file this if you don't want this case dismissed? While you sit here talking about big mad, why don't you share this with your audience? Pull up the court docket and tell them what's going on. Tell them why you filed this motion to dismiss and now a strike of the first amended complaint. Why did you all file this? You and your 3 attorneys. Because them thunkheads could not look up whether or not your LLC is registered in Delaware. I did. I looked it up. It's still registered in the state of Delaware. That's not libel tourism. And I'm talking to Candace Owens' 3 attorneys. That's not libel tourism. There's evidence to show that both Candace Owens LLC and Georgetown Inc. are still registered in the state of Delaware. She tried to move it to Tennessee, and they were abandoned. I showed the status on that. It was a Google search for me. But Candace Owens won't tell her audience this. She won't let them know what's going on with this case because she's not winning. She's scared. And because she has no soul, we don't care. Because you don't care about Erika Kirk or her children and what Erika Kirk is going through as a grieving widow. So since you don't care, I'm here for it. I'm here to keep my foot on your neck, Candace Owens. Oh, yeah, I am here for it. You sitting here trying to bring these conspiracy theories to court. You know darn well this judge is not having it. Judge Rennie is like, I'm not in the mood. Nope. Y'all said y'all was going to have this stuff submitted over to me. Somebody tried to file an amicus brief. Trying to say that they having some special interest in this case because we looked at the definition of an amicus brief. I showed everybody what that is. Yeah, it was rejected by the court. You can't make this up. She wants to make it seem like she winning, though. Then the candy asses come on my video leaving these dumb comments in my comment section. Because, big mad and all. Candace, you're not telling the truth about anything. You're not pointing out the facts. You're not showing documentation. This is what documentation looks like when you just pull up the court docket. I wish I had the court documents. That's what I wish I had. I want a copy of this motion to dismiss so I can read it. Oh, yeah. I want to know who submitted over this amicus brief. There are a lot of things I would like to know, Candace Owens. You know you've gotten a copy of these documents because you're a party to the case. And this stuff does not get docketed without you getting a copy as a party to the case. So why don't you post up this amicus brief? You said that the court documents are going to be available to the public. Didn't you all hear that? Didn't she say that? There's no NDA. Everything will be put up and posted up to the public. Didn't she say that? Candace, didn't you just say tonight in this video that we just saw, God help us all, that you want everybody to sue you and all the court documents will be available to the public? Bring it. I don't care. Sue me. Blah, blah, blah. Because you whining and crying about something. Didn't you say that? Y'all go ahead and sue me. It's sue me. I'm on one today. Oh, okay. I want to. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Let me share this. Y'all see that? Sue me. Sue me. I want subpoena power. Candace. Honey, I'm the queen of this for a reason. I'm the queen of this for a reason. Lady Luck Club is the queen of journalism for a reason. And I don't have to have 5 million subscribers to be that. I'm just badass at what I do.
Between Turning Point and Candace Owens because of TPUSA's business arrangement with Flexit. Weird that she knows that we have a business arrangement with Flexit, but she's saying that and it's kind of like dangling like, we could sue me. Sue me. I want subpoena power. I want all of your messages. Please do me.
You want subpoena power? This is your subpoena power, Candace. Motion to dismiss. Is that your subpoena power? You see why your words don't matter over here. Candace, you said you want subpoena power and to sue you. Sue you. Okay. The Macron said ditto. Which granted. And look how you responding. Candace Owens, I dare you to post up all of the court documents related to this lawsuit. Please do it. Do it, girl. Do it. Post up everything. Oh, you're going to release it all to the public? That doesn't scare me. I'm a journalist, girl. Post it up so I can talk about it. I'm going to do many, many videos on it. Go ahead. I would love that. I would love to know who wrote that amicus brief. Go ahead. I want to see the letter for judicial review where your attorneys keep asking for extensions to add in words. Please let this happen. And then, oh no, the improper filing. Who? You have 3 attorneys and they improperly filed a pleading or a document. It was rejected for improper filing. They went to law school though, right? Candace, go ahead and post up all the court documents. Make my day. Girl, make my day. Oh man, come on, Candace. Post up the documents, girl. Where the candy asses at? Y'all go tell your fearless leader. Lady Luck Club is daring you to do it. You want to be sued? Candace Owens, Lady Luck Club said, please post all the court documents for the Macron case. Post everything up. I want the amicus brief. I want those letters for judicial review. Post it up. When is the court hearing going to happen on the motion to dismiss? When are you going to acknowledge that you filed them?
Me a favor today on the Charlie Kirk case. I've been clear. I want all of the smoke from all of you. I don't think.
Yeah, she want all the smoke so she can file a motion to dismiss.
You realize how real life this is for me. I went back and listened so hard. I was like, girl, don't care at all. Do not care at all. I'm over it. We're in a new time. It literally is God time, okay? All of this stuff, and that's how she operates, by the way. She can treat you really evil, but there's an NDA preventing you, so you got to allow her to abuse you. We're not doing this anymore, Alyssa. We're not doing this anymore. Whatever company needs to hear this today, okay? You are no longer allowed to engage in sheer evil. You are no longer allowed to behave like Satan's children and then make little legal threats, okay? Anything that gets sent to me from a lawyer is not publicized. That's it. Don't.
This sent to me from a lawyer is not publicized. Candace, let that happen. Let it all come out, girl. Post up the motions to dismiss. Post up the amicus brief. Girl, post that stuff up. Let it flow and let it go. Just let go. Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. Post them court documents up. Let go. Girl, I'm waiting. Lady Luck Club would love for you to do exactly what you said in this thing on video. You want everything from a lawyer to be publicized. Okay? Bet. Post it up. Come on, Candace Owens. I know you watching. You talking about Big Bad. I'm just waiting on her to say you helper. Yeah. That's confirmation. Come on, post up the stuff, girl. You scared no one, honey. To all the conservatives that she's dragged through the mud, that she has defamed, that she has verbally attacked, that she has made provable false statements with malicious intent against, you should sue her, especially if you've caught an online death threat, because the person sending the threat listened to a neo-Nazi and Candace Owens. Don't you think Nicholas Ray is going to say that in the interrogation, Candace? You know, I listened to a lot of Candace Owens and I started believing everything she said, you know, and I just thought, they were the enemy. And now I realize they're not when he's facing like 1,000 years in prison. Do you not realize that you could be held culpable, Candace? You could literally be sued by those same people that Nicholas Ray sent those online death threats to because he was listening to you. And you have failed to denounce Nicholas Ray's actions. You have failed to do that. That is the least that you can do. So you good with somebody sending online death threats in your name or sending it because they listened to you? You good with that, Candace? Because if you're good with that, then you cannot complain or cry about anyone saying that they're going to sue you. It's not a threat. It's a right that we all have as Americans in the United States of America. We all have the right to seek legal action or legal recourse from the court of law. You walk around here saying things that can lead to people getting death threats. Oh, yeah, you should be sued. You posting up Charlie Kirk's medical file, you should be sued. You're telling Erika Kirk, well, you just got to somehow draw a distinction between you being a CEO and a widow. Oh, okay. I see you coming, Heifer. Erika Kirk should not have to worry about it, but she does have a lawsuit on her hands. She is the gatekeeper of her husband's medical information, Candace Owens. Not you. Not the medical staff at that hospital. She is. But you want everything publicized. We're just waiting on you to make a move. Post up all those court documents in the Macron lawsuit. Go ahead.
I don't care who you are. If you're watching this and you're going, should I scream record and send it to a lawyer? You probably should. And
yep. Go ahead and do it. If you have been subjected to being cyber harassed, cyber stalked, doxxed, bullied online, because Candace Owens said some nonsense where her 5 million candy ass cult followers decided to cyber harass somebody. A man is charged with 12 counts for sending out online death threats. If you've been subjected to that, you should sue her. You should sue the crap out of her and bankrupt her for every dime she thinks she's earned. Yep. You should definitely do that.
anything that you send to me is now public. Saying time is done.
Okay.
It's done. Okay. Shouldn't have shot Charlie Kirk. Just shouldn't have killed Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. Okay. So she's blaming who, what now? Because the man that did it is in jail. Tyler James Robinson is in jail. He doesn't care that you exist, Candace. As a matter of fact, you're helping his defense and you're not helping the prosecutor whatsoever. So, I mean, ditto. I mean, what are you scared of? Why don't you go ahead and test that theory and release all the documents in the Macron case? Or tell us how much you owe the High Court of Australia from this judgment. Why don't you do that? We're all waiting, Candace. Tell us how much you owe in this judgment from the High Court of Australia for the court costs. What does that amount look like? Because we all know you know. You're a party to the case. Of course, your attorneys know exactly how much you owe the High Court of Australia for the judgment. What's the number? If it's somewhere up in the millions, it's justified. But, you know, you said anything related to court documents, you're going to release it to the public now. Go ahead. See, this is the thing. She can't deliver on any of the stuff she's saying. Frankly, my dear, won't you come out them bushes? 53 people watching still. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Come out the bushes, frankly, my dear. You know you want to. Tell your dear leader, your cult leader, to release all the court documents from the High Court of Australia's case. Tell us how much she owes in that judgment. From the Macron lawsuit. Who wrote that amicus brief? Where's the letter for judicial review? Why are her attorneys improperly filing documents? Why do they think that they get to prolong this matter? Asking for extensions to add 3,000 damn words. I want to know all of it. That's not a threat, Candace. You're not threatening anybody. You're the one that's withholding information. So go ahead and release everything related to this case. Start with this. Start with the Macron's lawsuit before you try to graduate up to something regarding Charlie Kirk that involves the FBI and open investigation, and you have Erika Kirk who wants resolution. You're the only one sitting here creating all these conspiracy theories, but you expect her to take the heat for it. Candace Owens, you're a clown. You're a clown girl. So until she releases all the court documents related to the Macron's lawsuit, I don't trust nothing she's saying about anything regarding Charlie Kirk. You understand? Other countries need to ban her too. I know, right? Thank you, Kari. I appreciate it. There you go. Thomas Ward. Hey, that lady. Look, how you doing? How's it going? Shout out to you, Manny. I still think Candace has something to do with what happened to Charlie Kirk. She acts like it. It's like she's deflecting. Candace Owens, they're probably going to order you to a psyche eval. When they get through playing your videos, you losing your mind all over social media because you're not Erika Kirk and you want to be so bad. You want to be Erika Kirk so bad. And you're not. You're not his wife. You weren't his wife. You're not the CEO of Turning Point USA. And the idea that you could have been is driving you insane. Why don't you be honest about that, Candace? What could have been? You know, coulda, shoulda, woulda. That's driving you nuts. That could have been me. You know, it could have been me. I could have been the one that running Turning Point right now. I could be the CEO, and yet they wanted to ruin any opportunity for me and Charlie Kirk to have the great reunification, for us to unite again on the stage. They ruined that. Yeah, okay. Exactly, Francisca. You weren't even his close friend when he died. Candace, you're a joke, girl. But if you want to sit here and you ever want to, step up to the plate, because you said everything that comes from an attorney is going to be publicized. So if you really want to prove that, why don't you start with releasing the documents on how much you owe the High Court of Australia and all the documents in the Macron lawsuit. Let's see how that goes. Until then, don't make vile threats that you can't keep. You cannot deliver one. You won't even tell people you got this motion to dismiss. So this lets you all know exactly how Candace Owens conducts herself when it comes to these lawsuits. She's going to try to find a way out of it because she doesn't want to pay the cost. Because Candace Owens only cares about money and nothing else. All right, y'all. That's all I got. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Shout out to Lambert for the comment of the day. I'm sure every living thing or every piece of object or clothing item is folded up in that household because Candace Owens just could not help herself. Me, I. That's all she knows. So y'all tune in tomorrow. I'm not going to schedule it because every time I do, as you guys can see, work gets in the way and it kind of, it takes a lot of things to happen. So thank you so much. Hit the like button, share this content. Candace Owens, post the documents up or go sit down somewhere and shut up, girl. And I appreciate all of you. And I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good night. And then until the next one, Lady Luck out. Deuces.